おっす。動画あんすぎー。
いや、まあ暗いところだったらしょうがないよ。いや、俺も暗いよなーと思いながらやってるから別に。いや、なんでかどういう角度で撮れてるかなっていうのと、あと音がちゃんと撮れてるかなっていうぐらいやから、あんまりなんか暗さは気にしない。
お腹大丈夫？お尻に変なものでも入れたん？
今日は入れてないから大丈夫だよ。はい、したね。
じんべぇ89。今日はこの曲でお別れです。
俺何見ようとしたんだっけ。俺何見ようとしたの？
おいっす、今日はどうしたんだ？
俺 YouTube でなんかつけようとしてるけど、何見ようとしたか忘れた。アステコ店長代表。ああ、思い出した。
早速、みんなで動画を見ていきましょうか。
見るか。USA USA。さすがに長いなこの曲。これまだイントロだからな。この曲早く歌が。
ダパンプっていつの間に増えたの？ 今日はどうでっしゃろ。
He's out and gone, very unlottery-like, but back.
.でもいい角度で撮れてんじゃないの？案外サムネを見る限り。ちょっとな。案外いい角度で撮れてんじゃないの？
誰だこいつ。
結構音も入ってんな。
なんやこの人。
すごい1080のフル
HD
フル HD60fps で撮っている。
無言で運転してるやん。
そうやね。どっから喋るから。これちゃんと撮れてるの？ほら。7つ台目の。ほら。
なんでこっち向いてたの？
ちゃんと撮れてんのかなと思って。ほら。ちゃんと撮れてるやん。いいね。
ジンベエが車の中に。声が違う。これジンベエじゃない。
偽物やったか。いや、今日は
なんでテンション低いの？
テンション低いでしょ。お薬飲んでへんから。 配信以外の時はお薬飲んでんからさ。じゃあ今日は書くから
フォローする茶民がいなくて草。
なあ、なんか言ってくれよ。なんでや。じゃあ今日は絵描くから。
今日は書くのか。
今日は書くから。はよ完成。
ごめん、ヨーグルト食べてた。
はよ完成させえよ。はよお前いつまで書いてんねんって話やろ。
じゃあ動画消すか。
動画残るよ。残り続けるさ。
そう言って動画見るんでしょ。
よし、書くか。
今日はマリオコレクションの旗が見たい。じゃあ、無視完病国家。
時間はちょっ
なんや。
と。おお。
はい。
合ってるな。
ブイー。おっす、何これ、ディルドの製造過程？
これはね、なんだっけ。めっちゃ雨降ってきた。
じんちゃんこれやってよ、URL 省略。
あー、これね。あー、消されない。
今の三角形はフリーメイソンがどうたらこうたら。
めんどくせえやつじゃん。ツイッターにいるめんどくさいやつじゃん。死ねー。ツイッターにいるめんどくさいやつ。死ねー。
罠か。フリーメイソンは魔女の証だよって家計に処す。 早くが力上げてエッチなジンボットを生産し続ける機会になってくれ。
ちなみにさっきの動画、別角度からの。
もっとそう日常漫画で一段当ててくれ。
さっきの動画、実は別角度のやつがあるんですけど。
エロ同人を書くことになった悟空派。地下の奥深くで奴隷のようになんかぐるぐる回すやつ回しながらエロ絵を量産しろ。
これは別角度で撮った動画。
誰だこいつ。
なぜ別角度に撮ったやつを上げなかったのよとね、この後わかるんですが、なぜ上げなかったのか。
ラジオがうるさくて消すところが豚みたい。ここどこ走ってんの？
近く。落ちた。そうか。
死んだ死んだ。おいおい事故か。もう一回。
何の気なしに落ちた。落ちた。
のイントネーションが完全に三浦大先輩だった。
三浦大先輩だった、確かに。
そうだよ。やあジンベエ、今、ドライブしてるのかい？いいねー、どこ行くの？
去年ですね。
そうだな。落ちたな。
Come on, baby, America 好きすぎでしょ、この曲。いや、かっこいいなと思って。
去年に行くのか、気をつけろよ。
エース黒幕説は一体何の黒幕なんだ。
かわいいベイビーハイハイ。
エース黒幕説とは一体何の黒幕なんだ。
黒の組織でしょ。
どういうことやねん。
ありがとう。黒の組織ドン。どうでっしゃろ。
どうでしたろう。
真の黒幕は大門だよ。
なぜ
よろしおまっしゃろ。
じゃあ今日の
今日はちょっとオスジンベエ愛してるぞ。
俺も愛してるぞ。 愛してるぞと言ってくれるだけで元気になれるな。やはり愛はすごい。やはり愛はすごい。じゃあ今日これ。
愛したい。愛してるぜ。
愛してる。
Alright guys, this is the moment you've been waiting for. It's time for the Super Mario Series Relay Race!
愛してたよ。
Well, welcome everybody to the 2D Warpless Mario Relay.
おー。
If the staff is ready for us, we'll start pretty soon.
おーい。愛し合う二人の時にも隣同士あなたと私に信号。スマブラ大臣の反応でも見るか。
3, 2, 1, go!
スーパーマリオシリーズ、ワープなしのリレーです。
We have Team Birdo, we have Team Boom Boom, and we have Team Reznor.
スーパーマリオシリーズの
Birdo, we
ワー
have
プなし
Mr.
だから
Cab 55. For Team Boom Boom, we have Lack Attack 24. And for Team Reznor, we have Cosmic D12.
Yep, and we can do a quick roll call. I'm John Carls. I am representing Team Birdo. Who's representing Team Birdo?
はい、もうこの時点でジンベエの方がすごい。
歓声がすごすぎて音が切れるやつやめてくれるかな。
Not so much.
I'm Skybills. I'm representing Team Reznor. Y'all better make me proud. Let's see you scream.
ワープなしだか
You'll
ら、ね、
notice right away some
ワープな
differences
しだ
in
か
strats
ら
going on here. You'll notice that Mr. Cab is using a large Fire Mario, whereas Lack
ファイア
Attack
マ
and
リオを取る
Cosmic
には
are
理由があ
still
るんです
small
よ
Mario.
ね。
バルーンファイ
That
ブ
will
ジンベエ
change
5
a
ダ
little
ン
bit
トルの
later,
技は
though.
どこがポイントになっ
Previous
てくる
to
でしょうか。
SGQ,
やはり
Lack
マ
Attack
リ
used to
オ
always
1、
use small
2、
Mario,
3
or Fire
と
Mario for this
あ
category.
と、
But over
ロストレベルズ、
preparations for SGQ while he was here,
まあ
he
日本で
learned
いうマリオ
small
ワー
Fire
ルド2なん
Marios.
で
We're
すが、
actually very fortunate to be able
まあ
to
そ
see
れら
all
を
three strats
ま
on
あ
display.
順
You
に
can
ク
see
リアしていく
Cosmic
と
D
いうリレーで
using
す。
small Mario.
で
He definitely is
まあ1ワン
probably
シ
at
ー
least
ズ
for
を
this game
ク
the
リアした
favorite to
まあ
win.
僕
He has
は
the much
だということ
stronger
ですね。
PB despite using the much more difficult strats. But the small Fire Mario is a compromise between losing a little bit of time while at the same time saving time by having fire and having the safety of being smaller. And you're going to see that at the end of 1-4. Some weird things are going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Throughout this whole relay, you're going to get to see a showcase of several different types of strategies for beating these games warpless. And a lot of it comes down to player comfort, especially in a no-reset situation like a marathon like this. So it's going to be really interesting to see the risky strats versus maybe some
斧
safer
を取らないと
strats.
倒せないんですけど、ファイヤーマリオの場合、ファ
Alright,
イヤー
so
を
what
5
you
発
just
当
saw
てれば
Lack
倒せ
Attack
るん
do
ですよ
here is set up for a small fire. And what that means is he's now in a glitch state where the next 2 power-ups he gets is going to put him in Fire Mario state while still being small Mario. And you're going to see that come up here.
今画面
The
右
big
端、
difference in the time
今
so
画
far that you're
面
seeing
右
here
上の
is
人は
that
ですね、
both runners, Lack Attack
まあ
and
バグ技を
Mr.
使用しました。
Cab actually had to slow down to
ダメージを食らう直前に
抜きましたね。ファイヤーは8発ですね。
8発ですね。
The advantage of being small Mario in this glitch state is that you get to keep the small hitbox that you would
クッ
normally
パ
have in
に
small Mario.
ダメージを
You
食ら
get
い
to
な
use
が
the
ら
power
斧を
of
取ったことにより
having
小さい状態になったん
helps
です
in
が、
two ways. It helps you clear
そ
out
こ
enemies
から
in
キノコを取り、
stages,
ファイヤーを取
and
る
it
の
also
で、
helps
チ
you
リ
kill
状態でファイヤーになること
Bowser
ができ
fights
ます。
faster. The animation for the bridge does not occur when you kill Bowser with the or Koopa with the fireballs.
Yeah, and don't let the
Fireballs.
strange animation fool you. Whenever Lack Attack shoots his fireball, you see his sprite kind of go back into the large Fire Mario state, but his hitbox actually doesn't match that. So he's actually safe the whole time.
And speaking of hitboxes, the hitboxes, particularly on the Piranha Plants, are much more generous in this game than in the Super Nintendo version.
さあ、
So it
各家
looks like
なんかおかしなことにな
getting
ってるけど
close to
も
a
うすで
Piranha
に。
Plant. They're really not going to take a hit. The hitboxes are very generous in this version.
Yeah, some of the players in Super Mario 2 Lost Levels have decided to use the There's a lot of different reasons to choose one version over another, but we're going to see one of the runners using the Famicom Disk System and two of the runners using the SNES. And one of the big differences between those two versions is the fact that in the SNES version, those Piranha Plant hitboxes have been fixed, which means if you want to make them over with any speed, you have to take a different approach than just the normal jumping over them that you see often with some of these NES versions.
Okay, Alpha, so the most commonly asked question Darby and streamers playing this game. Why did they hit the top of the flagpole instead of the bottom? What's the deal?
Alright, so the thing about this game is that you have to wait on the flag to come down in any case. But what's important to note is that what actually makes the difference between hitting the top of the flagpole and the bottom of the flagpole is if you actually hit the top of the flagpole, Mario jumps off the side of the flag without touching the block, and for whatever reason, when Mario is in the air backwards, he actually accelerates faster, which allows you to get to the castle a few frames earlier, and in some stages that can make the difference between making the earlier frame rule. For anyone who's not familiar, Super Mario 1, Super Mario Brothers 1, and Super Mario Brothers 2 Lost Levels both operate on what people refer to as a frame rule, which means that unless you can beat the stage 21 frames faster, you can't really save any time. The game is sort of locked to these 21 frame cycles.
Yeah, Darby in Professional Analogy Giver actually explains it as a bus waiting for you every 21 frames at the end of the level. And so it doesn't really matter how many frames you gain or lose as long as you make that frame rule or that bus schedule.
So all these runners are doing a really great job.
Oh, a death by Cosmic on one of the Hammer Brothers in 3-1. That's going to put Mr. Cab in the lead and Lack Attack slightly behind him.
Yeah, the big difference that you're seeing between runners so far, aside from small mistakes, the big differences you're seeing is just the number of power-ups. Cab needed to pick up 2 power-ups, whatever time he had to slow down for them, in addition to the actual power-up time. Whereas Lack Attack actually had to pick up 3 power-ups over the course of the run.
And you see right there the risk of doing the small Mario strat versus doing this small Fire Mario or Fire Mario strat is that the margin for error is a lot thinner in terms of taking damage.
Now at the end of these stages, you'll notice that the players want to buffer their time. Fireworks on a 6, a 3, or a 1, you want to avoid those, so we're going to see those numbers being avoided in this.
Yeah, the one firework doesn't actually end up losing any time, but the 6 and 3 can be quite costly, especially if you're anticipating getting specific frame rules for players who are really confident in their skills and who have played this game for a long time and can play consistently. A lot of times, one of the reasons why the randomness of some of the more difficult stages that we'll see later in the run don't actually cause quite as many problems is because of the fact that if you can guarantee that you've gotten the same frame rules, you tend to get the same patterns from enemies.
Mr. Cab going into 3-4.
すいません、ダイエット来月からなんですよ。
Cosmic's made up some time as well.
肉体に抑揚がないから寸胴に見える。全部129、3、今のジンボットだとボンボンボンだね。
肉体に抑揚がないから寸胴に見える。言わせておけば。
And right there you can see why fire strats are faster, just being able to get over that bridge.
白間に3面のやつ
がリードしてきましたね。
Another reason why the frame rules can be important is that in the different castles, there are these fire bars on Potaboos, and some of those can be on set schedules. Sometimes even losing frame rules can be optimal for setting the fire bars in the castles a certain way. Another interesting thing about Mario 1 that a lot of people will notice if they're new to the run is how tight these jumps look as you jump over the Piranha Plant. The Piranha Plants actually don't have hitboxes in the top part of the plant, only the stem. So you're able to jump through those. That's something you cannot do in the Super Mario All-Stars version. And that'll be a difference that you will see when we come to 2J, when one team is going to be playing on All-Stars and one on Famicom Disk System.
All right, so we see Mr. Cab going into 4-2 earlier.
くびれか。くびれもうちょっと欲しいの。
This stage obviously famous at any percent.
左下動きに迷いがなくてすごい。じゃあ、ピーマンはどうですか。
すい
ません。つくねとこっちにもピーマン。
Taking the top of the stage. If you move efficiently, it's not actually that difficult to get on top of the stage. The only time you really lose is falling back down the shaft of the elevator at the very end that you need to come down. So you see the top runners and you see that they actually play the stage out, but it's quite a bit safer to go above and you don't really lose very much time.
Black and Cosmic only about a second between them. Still a very, very tight race.
孤独のグルメカルトクイズ。
point in the warpless run where the game kind of ramps up the difficulty. Right after World 4, entering World 5 is where a lot of the more difficult parts of the run start. Now, the castles have always been a little bit difficult, but the stages are going to ramp up quite a bit, and you're going to see that coming up pretty soon.
Also, the
孤
most
独の
important
グルメ
and
カルトクイ
impressive
ズ
part
誰
of
が
this
参
one
戦
is
す
that
ん
this
の
isn't even Mario's full
ド
time
ラマの井の頭五郎はなんていう
深
か、井の頭五郎という名前の別人に思えてしまう。
So heading into 4-4,
井の頭五郎っぽい
this
です
is
ね。
the first puzzle castle. If you do not take the right route, you have to
し
perform
か
that
し
part of the
ド
castle.
ラマの井の
So
頭
really
五
good
郎
to
っ
know
ていう
where
の
you're
はなんていうか
Yeah, it loops if you take the
井
wrong
の
path
頭
per
五郎
se.
っていう名前
Now,
の
Mr.
別
Cab
人
actually
に
had
見
to
えてし
slow
まう
down for the firebar in 4-4, and he's going to have a special challenge trying to take out the Bowser with a fireball. That was actually a
Good
really...
recovery. Good recovery.
孤独のグルメに間違
The
いを
Bowser in
話よりピ
4-4
ザ
can
に
be
乗
one
せ
of the
たト
most
ッピン
difficult
グをすべ
ones.
て答えよ。
Now,
井
both
の
Black
頭
Attack
五郎
and
と
Cosmic didn't have to slow down for that firebar in 4-4 because they were small. Black Attack handled that Bowser perfectly.
こんなもん良くなった
We have a $100 donation from Bearman that says, "Save the humans, kill the animals, go Team Birdo."
Yeah.
That was excellent on Mr. Cab's part. It's very difficult to, or it's very easy with just a small mistake. If you have to slow down at any point, you end up with a 6 on the clock. You're actually fighting against time
ワ
to
ン
get
ピー
the
スはもう折れちゃうじゃん。
So what are the stakes for this race?
What are the stakes for this
Yeah.
race? Well, I heard that the Runner's Choice donations have something to do with them.
Well, whatever team wins, I think gets all of the Runner's Choice donations for the whole race. Is that right?
足投げよっ
And
て
it goes toward whatever that team has decided on. Do you know what your team decided on?
We are going to do Save the Animals.
無理歯が折れちゃう。
Yeah.
Skybills, do you know what your team's doing for that?
We have chosen to kill the animals and save those frames.
I believe my team has all fuzzy photos from Earthbound. I think that was it. Did I get it wrong?
No, you did.
Oh.
I'm just shaking my head at you in disgust, that's all. Plus, there's a side wager going on here, isn't there?
There may be a side wager going on.
So heading into 5-3, these bullet bills are random. Makes the route just a little complicated for these runners.
The stage actually presents quite a few challenges. Because of the bullet bills and the concentration of enemies, this is basically just 1-3, but with random fireballs, or with random bullet bills. But because of all the bullet bills that are there, if you don't kill the enemies in just the right way, you can actually end up with some necessary platforms despawning, making it
参考になるかわかんないけど一応、先
So
生
often,
杯
Scott,
話
you both
が
have
遅
played
れ
all
て
of
き
these
ました
games a
ね。
number of times, especially in the warpless relays. What would you say is the difference between the physics that we'll see throughout the series, starting from 1 and going all the way to World?
Well, 1 and 2J are very similar. There's a lot of there are differences. So if you talk to speedrunners about the differences between 1 and 2J, there are some notable ones. Bounce heights off of enemies, for instance, and definitely when you get into issues with whether or not you want to play with Mario or Luigi, for the purposes of this race, I think all runners are using Mario. But it definitely changes quite a lot when you get into some of the later games. So 2 US is very similar to 1 in the respect that there's basically 1 running speed. Once you get running speed, you're at max speed, and that's what you got to work with some small differences. With SMB3, there's an actual P meter, and the P meter controls whether or not you get running speed, and controlling it can be quite a challenge, but I think these runners are up to it. And then Super Mario World kind of borrowed from SMB3 in that regard.
またガタイが良くない。またガタイ良すぎ問題か。
Controlling it's a lot easier, I think.
またガタイ良すぎ問題かよ。
And 6-2 is a really nice stage to have Fire Flower for. You can see how much easier that is, getting through all of those different pipe jumps.
But watching someone like Cosmic play this, I mean, 6-2 is already a challenging enough stage with
death right at the end of 6-2.
This is already a challenging enough stage with a power-up. Doing it small Mario only is...
Definitely.
おむぐ。おすぎです。
We have a
この子
$50
がたい
donation
おす
from
ぎ。
Mr. Cab's little sister saying, "Go Team Birdo."
Notice how all the donations are for Team Birdo. Seems like a smart decision to me. So how about we make a wager on this?
I think we already did.
Okay. What is that wager?
So whichever of our
作戦
teams
次第で
beats the
変わ
other
るもん
one,
だね。
that person has to speedrun a game of the other person's choosing.
Okay, so if you guys have any terrible games you want Author Blues to speedrun, worse than the normal ones he runs, tweet at me. Because you're going down.
てかもう6の4か。早いな。
Look at my boy Mr. Cap just holding it down fresh.
I don't know. I think that there's still a lot of run left.
Yeah.
It's really a testament.
まあただこれで終わりじゃないからね。マリオシリーズだから、まあ
even with
次
some of the issues that he's
あと
had,
3作をね。
right behind these guys.
Yeah, with 2 deaths being one level behind is incredibly impressive.
ただ一番苦労するのは多分あれだろうな。
右上
It's the
が
risk
近づい
you
て
take
きた。
of doing the small Mario strats in a marathon. It's
ただクリアするのは、まあ3が一番時間かかるだろうな。
He's definitely got the best PB of these runners and he's killing it.
Man.
連続でやるの。
そうだよ。
Lack only
スーパーマリオシリーズって書いてあるじゃん。
Yeah, Lack made the choice to
この
slow
次
down
マ
a
リオ
little bit
USA や
at
る
the
ぞ
top of the stairs there. He saw that if he had jumped off, he was going to get the 3 on the clock, which would have earned him 3 fireworks, as we mentioned before. It only loses a small amount of time to get 3 fireworks, but it lost less time for him to slow down at the top of the stairs. So that's why he chose to do that.
So you're saying Lack's not very patriotic, is what you're saying?
もちろんマリオ RPG もだ。
That's probably
でマリオ
Okay.
USA。
Now, are any of these runners going to be shrinking their hitbox as they're swimming in these levels?
USA,
I haven't
USA.
specifically seen Mr. Cap going for that, but I don't know. He might have been, but he
ついに
would be the only one who would
Mario.
really be affected by that.
So Mr. Cab losing power up in 7-2, doing a good job of recovering and kiting those bloopers over so that he can stay alive. First time he's lost a power up all run, which is
Yeah,
really impressive.
that's- For large hitbox Fire Mario, that's a special challenge just holding on to it for the whole run. He still has an opportunity in 7-3 if he wants to get a mushroom. That would definitely help him quite a lot.
Basically evens up Lack and Mr. Cab now.
スーパー天草が8000円安くなるクーポン券付き。
スーパーおーさ。
右上来たな。
For all intents and purposes, RNG
右上
here.
に下来たな。
Yeah, there's not a lot of patterns in this game that are completely impossible to navigate at full speed. But man, with some of the patterns you can get, if you're not familiar with what
Cosmic
you're
going
dealing with.
risky going into that pipe and just went past the blooper. He's a bold man.
We have a $237 donation from EFT that says, "Young boys beat 30-year-old games fast for charity. Let's a go for Team Resnar."
Oh. What?
Okay, so this is our second puzzle castle of the game. It may not seem obvious why they're choosing the route through the platforms that they are, but they are hitting specific triggers in order to prevent the level from looping. That's basically what's happening here.
Yeah, it's basically a puzzle stage, and the game expects you to keep looping over and over again until you can figure out the exact right path.
When Alex and I first started learning
もう
puzzle
8面じゃん。
castles, especially in the lost levels, I asked him, how do you know the routes when you're on time and just take the worst possible path through
ヘッ
here?
ドレスト。
So I think going into World 8, now's about the time to mention the way that we're going to handle the trade-off between games. So just for a handful of reasons, we decided to add just 1 minute of downtime between games. That's going to give runners a chance to step in and out. It's going to give us a chance to change between consoles in the cases where we're changing between consoles. And just in general, it's going to keep people from throwing controllers at full speed against one another.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the race.
We've lost a lot of good men that way, so.
この中に何人英語わからないやつおんねやろな。
8 wasn't particularly long.
そんなバカな。
Most of the levels in World 8 are a lot longer.
台湾に旅行行ったことあるじゃない、俺が台湾に旅行行った時さ、なんか台湾のでけえビルがあるんだけど、その中で LOL のイベントやっててさ、
Yeah, we're definitely into the area of the run that's
LOL 全
I would say is
く
Cosmic
中国語
Wheelhouse.
全くわかんない LOL のイベントの
World 8,
クイズ大会みたいなの
and
で
he's
見
in
学してた。
normal conditions, so I think he will be able to make up
LOL
some time. You can
card
definitely
quiz.
see how much fire is helping Lactac mitigate some of these issues.
みん
in
な
this
のテン
stage.
ションが一番高かったね。
No, he didn't get a good bill.
楽しそうじゃん。
World 8 is definitely a
実際ね、台湾でみんな
level
一番
that
テンション高か
80%
った。
runners are masterful at.
男野郎4人で台湾行ったけ
80%
ど。
run, so Cosmic being a prolific 80% runner is obviously
その時がみんな
very
のテンション
familiar
が
with
一番
that.
高か
He's
っ
probably the best in the world at 8-4. 8-4 being the only level that doesn't actually have a frame rule. because it's the end of the game, so you can actually save frames. And I believe he has the best ever recorded 8-4. So going for the mushroom there, and unfortunately the bullet bill being right on top of him as he got it.
You can see that brief moment of hesitation, looking to see if he could get the shot, but it wasn't meant to be. Mr. Cab's getting his fire flower back, probably a good choice. The end of this stage can be incredibly stressful with all of the Hammer Bros.
Hammer Bros.
Yeah, the Hammer Brothers are probably the most difficult part to deal with in this game casually. And honestly, even speedrunning-wise, a very, very big challenge.
もう終わるじゃん。
especially without fire strats.
あ、死んだもしかして。
Smart of him
右
to go
下。
the safe route there.
左下か。
So Lactec definitely went for the wall jump
お
pixel
っと
there.
そうカルトクイズ。
Let's hear it for Cosmic's 8-3. Oh my gosh. Nice stage, Cosmic.
Cosmic had no issues handling those Hammer Brothers.
What you just saw Lack Attack do and you're about to see Mr. Cab do is wrong warp. So essentially, they're scrolling the screen far enough to the right to kind of move the trigger for where the warp would be, but they can still get into the pipe. And they will actually end up going to that water section
でもう
instead.
ちょっと冷
That's
た
not
い
where
な。
that pipe
体
is
全
intended
身をもう
to
ちょ
go.
っ
They are
とこ
actually
うキュ
tricking
ッ
the
て
game
するん
into
だった
thinking
ら
that
And with that,
they're
we have the
working
end of
somewhere
SMB1. Team Boom Boom in the lead.
Sub 20 minutes by Lack. Really, really nice time.
Really
さあ
impressive.
これはリレーなので、
That's a solid run to start off this
ステージをクリアすると選手が変わります。
We actually got a $50 donation from Silly Person that actually said, "Go Team Boom Boom."
Finally.
And go Lag
Thank
Attack. So great job.
You can see the
Really great
special
run.
challenge that Mr. Cab had dealing with
2014 for
8-4.
Cab.
純ボットのオナニー
And there
時
we
の
go for
ご
Cosmic.
性能は10ミリリットルですが、
いや知らんの。
So as they set up, we're looking at less than a 30-second gap between all three teams. So this
Yeah,
is
this
still
is
incredibly
super
tight.
close race.
Nothing's even begun to be decided yet as we go into a very
優勝者
difficult speed game,
Kabama.
Super Mario Bros. 2 US.
And with that, we have Justifin going ahead and starting off Super Mario Bros. 2 US. He's going to be picking Toad right out the gate. Now, you're going to actually see a lot of really interesting strategies right at the beginning of this game. There's a lot of really interesting tech in this game. Obviously, for those of you who have ever seen a Super Mario Bros. 2 US speedrun, the most important tech is that for whatever reason, Toad, being the slowest character in the game, they decided that all he has to do is pick up an enemy, and he's now the fastest character in the game. And that's what they're...
向こうじゃには夢工場なのか。
そう。
Getting a little
ねえ、
fuzz on our screen here.
お何した今
Nothing Sven can't handle though.
で、
他の BGM 好きだわ。
こっちの2が、マリオブラザーズロストレベルズっていうのになって
One of the
るらし
most
くて
difficult parts about this speed run is that there are no continues. When you die in a world, you start at the beginning of that world. So if you die on 7-4, you start back on at 7-1. Can make this game really unsafe for a situation like this, especially trying to push the game as fast as you can. Nice trick by Sven there.
So something interesting to note about this game is that this game is subject to a lot of this game has a lot of similarities with SMB1 in regards to frame rules. So you might think that this game doesn't really have frame rules to it, but one way to think about it is at the end of every single stage, there's a fight against Birdo, and in that fight against Birdo shoots eggs, and those eggs are actually on a global timer. So based on when they start the level, every, I think, 254 frames, Birdo fires another egg.
So you can see Sven doing a quick carpet trick where he gets on one carpet, swaps, makes the carpet go considerably faster, and he's able to skip over a whole section that you go inside the door and have to get a key for. Also kind of weird seeing Sven kill a Birdo on Team Birdo. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it's kind of necessary if we're going to win the race.
So what BJW just tried to do there is pick up a vegetable after coming out of subspace. Unfortunately, no luck, but that would have been able to take out Birdo very quickly.
For any of you who played this game casually, you've probably seen that at the bottom of 1-3, you typically go to the top of the stage to get a key, and then go to the bottom of it to open the door. But right there, Justifin did a trick where he clipped through the bottom of the screen, which allowed him to enter right through that door, basically.
Yeah, that's already in World 1, 2 skips of needing to go obtain keys and unlock areas. Just able to skip through different stuff. This game has a lot of really interesting tech and glitches in it that think a really interesting and fun.
いやージンベエ、僕はコナ
You
ー。
see Sven attempting it
な
right
んで
now.
俺の名前を
You actually see JW over there trying the same thing.
FBI のノーマン・ジェイデンだ。
マ
And
リオ
all
が
three
かぶっ
runners
て処
pulling
理
that
落ち
off
してる
easily
のか
for
な。
pros.
マリオとマリオが
That's a very difficult jump to pull off. So continuing with our theme to use Toad to go fast, we're going to see Toad for most of World 2, but not just being able to run fast, Toad also digs the fastest, and since this world has 2 different stages where you spend a lot of time digging, you're going to see him proceed through the stage very quickly.
Sven dying on Mauser right as he killed him.
ジンベエスマブラスプどうすんのオープス。
Be remiss not to point out that Sven is the only person in this game that has held the whole world record for this game.
That's interesting.
発売させますよ
He's also the only person with the Swedish flag wrapped around his
全
neck.
キャラ出して
In my experience, that's true.
One of the nice features about the All-Stars version of this game is you can actually skip that fanfare that happens after by pausing and getting the menu repeatedly. Unfortunately, in this version, we don't have access to that menu.
開発間に合うんですかジンベエさん。
間に合わせます
参戦するのかってことでしょ。いや参戦すんのって話。
We have a $40 donation from KDoodle7 that says, Team Resnar has my heart. I still believe in my boy BJW.
BJW been playing very solid so far, nailing all the tricks. Couldn't ask for too much more right now.
One of the most underrated parts of this speedrun that you might not realize watching it is digging. Digging is really difficult. Do you want to
え、
speak to that
プリン
as
って
somebody
名
who's
前
played
な
this
の
game
に
for
食べ
a
ら
while?
れないん
Yeah,
です
so
か
there's a lot of
ルカナンは投
different
げキャラ
approaches to digging. You see a lot of the top
ルカナンは
runners
投げキャラ
get
だよ
really good at just digging pretty much straight down, it looks like. And they pick these specific lines and patterns that allow them to
ジョ
move
ービ
pretty
ーの
quickly.
階段バグで復
But
帰す
more
るジン
important
ベ
than any
エ。
of that is sort of how do you deal with it if you don't have the rhythm down for digging as fast as possible. One of the issues with that is that, as you can see, there's a lot of enemies who would like to fall on your head, but they sort of move left and right based on your position in relation to them. So you can dig specific patterns so that when they fall down to a lower level, they actually just walk away from the hole that you're digging.
今
which is
誰が
extremely
進んでんのか
convenient
分からへん
and
んだよこれ
particularly useful for going fast is to not have to worry so much about the enemies falling down on your head.
You'll see that Sven actually is able to star kill that Birdo. If you're able to get a star all the way to a Birdo fight, you can just run right through him and not have to.
Yeah, the timing for that can be very difficult,
Yeah,
but
it's a tight window.
if you can do it, it's quite a bit faster.
There's an easier version of that star kill too in World 4 2. We're going to see a little later on.
Yep.
So what other characters can we expect to see in this game? You're going to see all 4 characters?
左下の
You
入
will
力
see
端子が
probably all 4
僕は
characters, at least from most of the players. In most of the stages, you pick based on what you do the most of. So for really stages where you need lots of really long jumps, you're going to see maybe Luigi. If you see stages where it's just a lot of running or digging, you're going to see Toad. There is one particular stage where it's faster to use Princess Peach or the princess. And that stage is just one where there's one particularly long gap that allows you to skip a segment of the stage. And then for a lot of these runners, you're probably going to see them use Mario in 3-3. Mario is a really well-balanced character, and that stage just has a large balance of going horizontally and jumping vertically. So,
My boy Sven throwing an item at Birdo at the same time the egg came out, being able to get a double hit there, save a little bit of time. Overall, the race is still really close.
yeah, this is exceptionally close. Yeah, Just Defense having a little bit of a challenge getting that the powered jump. The reason is that while you have the star activated, you actually can't see whether or not your character is flashing to indicate that you actually fully powered up. So if you try to rush it while you have the star, you have no visual indicator that you've succeeded.
And Sven being a champ, just
右上がチームブンブンじゃない
the
か
audio
今
or
進んでる
visual issues that are going on in front of him.
英語もわかん
Staying
ないし。
focused.
Yeah, I think
He's
Sven
on
deserves
lockdown.
a special
Oh.
appreciation for being able to play under these conditions. It doesn't seem to be affecting him at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
And there you saw a quick kill on Triclide. You can actually
右上だ。
throw
わかんない
the
な。
bird directly on him.
右上強いな。
There's a lot of pretty cool quick
右
kills
上
on
な
these
んか
bosses that you might
頭
not
一
have
つ
ever
抜
seen
きんでて
before
速いよ
play
な
this game casually. Just really creative strats, in my opinion.
あれあんま変わってねえ
Mario games I just really like.
もうちょっ
This game's
と
definitely kind of the
こ
black
こを
sheep or
短
a
くした
very
い
different
おっ
game
ぱいが
than
で
the
か
others,
すぎ
and
る
it's
やっぱりおっ
it's got a
ぱい
lot
が
of
で
really
かす
cool
ぎま
speed
す
tech that you won't see in other games these Mario games either.
ジンボットさんおっ
PJW
ぱいでかすぎま
barely
す
missed the timing for getting the quick kill on Triclide, but ended up clutching it out at the end anyway. It's worth noting here, if we're just talking about PBs directly, that the DJW is definitely the favorite to win for this game. He has by
最初
far
は
the
バグ技
strongest
使って
PB
調
of
子乗っ
three,
て
though
る
they're
か
all
と思っ
fairly
たら
evenly
盛り
matched,
返
I
し
would
た
say.
チームブンブン。いや何おっぱい減ら
Just
そう
wanted
と
to
してん
say,
だ殺すぞ。
before you guys can continue on, but we did reach $900,000.
インゴットのおっぱい自由型。
That is awesome.
Let's get to that 1 million, guys. We're almost there.
すげえ寄付入んなかった今。
Continue on, but we did reach $900,000.
9000ドルいったぞ
Let's
っていう
get to
話。
that 1 million, guys. We're almost there.
9000ドラーズっていう
Justin
ね。
using Peach in order to, or Princess in order to skip a little segment. There's a gap that otherwise wouldn't be accessible, and if you were to try to make that gap, you would actually fall in, despite the fact that technically there's supposed to be more stage down there. But that jump right there saves quite a bit of time.
You're also going to see her being able to jump off of the ladder and go above the
レジエ
level,
だからいいけど、
skipping a
こ
substantial
の書き
part
直
of
し
the
回数ア
stage.
ナログ
Yeah,
や
this
っ
is
た
going to
ら
be a
紙ボ
running
ロボ
theme
ロや
throughout the
な。
game. You can actually jump off of vines, ladders, and chains in this game. It's very tight timing, so if you just try to do it by yourself, you know, let's say that you're sitting at home and you fire up your console, you may not get
そう
it,
だな。
but you have a small frame window to still press the jump button when you step off of a ladder. It happens to be much larger if you're playing as Luigi, so if you're holding the up button when you step off a ladder, you have 8 frames to hit the jump button. For every other character, it's only 3, and if you're not holding the up button, it's only 1 frame for every character. So it's actually really difficult to pull off, but it's a major part of skipping large portions of some of the levels. This one and 7-1 in
ケツ穴もボ
particular.
ロボロだ
And
し。
here we're going to see the first appearance of
ケツ穴はボロ
Mario.
ボロじゃないよ
What's。the reason for that, Chad?
So this is a well-balanced character that works well for what this stage has. So there's a lot of segments with straight climbing, and Mario happens to have a really balanced jump height that also works really well for some of the heights or some of the distances between some of these
いや
platforms.
全然言って
So
る
when we
よ。
get into the next room and he's jumping between platforms, it just so happens that Mario's primary jump height is the perfect height for going between those platforms. And so balanced between his run speed and his jump height, he is the
ガバ
clear
ガバな
choice
だ
for
け
the
だよ
stage.。
And he just
デ
moves
ジ
to
穴
that。jump off of
デ
the
ジ穴
enemy
デ
to
ジ
get
穴とか言う。
substantially higher than he normally would.
You can get a rhythm for these vines when you have 2 chains next to each other or 2 ladders or 2 vines. You can get a rhythm for going back and forth between them to climb faster using jumps.
We have a $10 donation from OAuth Blues. Says refresh token equals go team boom boom.
Nice. Come on.
世にも奇妙な話でそんなのあったよね。
Alright, so we have Justifin right now going into the second Mauser fight. Both of the other runners are
や
going
め
to be
なさ
going
い
into
よ。
Mauser 2 in just
人
a
生
second as
には
well.
ど
This
うし
Mauser
ようも
fight,
ない
the
絵を黙
major
って
difference
書かなきゃ
between
ならない
this
時
one
もあ
and the
る。
previous one
ブン
is
ブ
this
ン
one。takes 5 hits, and in addition to that, there's also
なんだあんた関係ないだろ。
going around the screen the whole time.
It's very frustrating casually.
Yes.
And you see Sven using Luigi in this level instead of Mario that we talked about. Do you want to speak to why he's doing that?
Well, I think he said that he had a few specific strats that made... Oh, okay. Yeah, he mentioned specifically that there was a frame-perfect glitch. I think it was that door entrance right there. If you input the jump at the right time, you can skip a little portion of that stage. In addition to that, I mean, all told, the amount of vines that you end up climbing in this stage, being able to have access to just jumping straight up them much more easily, it makes him not a worse choice, to be honest.
ルイージの
Luigi's
動き
definitely an
凄ま
interesting
じい
character
な
to。get used to using casually because of just how floaty he is, but huge advantages at some of the speed tech in this game, specifically with ladders and just jumping over certain gaps.
確か宇宙へ。
So I think I've been told in the past, and someone can confirm for me, but I think I've been told in the past that taking that hit as you grab the orb there saves some lag frames.
Sorry, guys. We're going to go ahead and fix this
You're
right
looking
now.
awesome.
That's why we have everyone at a pause. Do not worry. It's going to keep going.
Alright, so just to make this fixed, he's going to go ahead and use the warp to just catch up to where we were at.
Yeah, this should only take about 2 minutes, I think.
タイミングがなかったですよ。で、ここで、4の、全員が4面に行ったことによって、
for Sven for playing so well up to this point with his console like that. I mean, to be able to pull off the crazy tricks that he was doing in addition to some of the strats that really no one else goes for. And even now, I mean, all he's doing is trying to get back to World 4 and he's playing like fire.
バグ技じゃないわ。ワープを使って、
I'll read a couple of donations while we're waiting for Sven to get to 4-1. I have a $200 donation from DeRaven that says, "Go Team Birdo, marbles, 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 marbles."
Marbles.
Oh my goodness. We have a $30 donation from Thompson Harbor that says, "I'm so excited for the rest of this race. I had to donate again. Go Team Resnar, killing the animals for my man Riley." We have, oh my goodness, we have a $50 donation from the Stinky Stick Man that says, "Incredibly happy to donate during my most anticipated run of this GDQ. Looks like it's going to be an exciting race so far. We'll donate another 15 if Team Boom Boom wins, another 20 if Team Birdo wins, and another 25 if Team Resnar wins." We also got a $2,000 donation from Tang En. Supporting NSF is one of the best causes that I can put my money towards. I've kept my powder dry all this time, but I've got to go support Grand Pooh Bear. It's time to raise the stakes. Money goes towards the runner's choice. Come on, Mario Speedrun community. Let's see if we can push this to 1 million.
One person just needs to donate $93,000
マリオのリレーを見ながら、
Totally fine.
Don't be cheap, guys. Come on. It doesn't look good on you.
Got $100 from Anonymous that says, "Go Team Resnar, kill those
ここかな
animals."
ここで、ドアのところ、壺か、壺のところで、壺に入ると4面に。
Alright, here we go. About ready to go.
Alright guys, we're gonna count it down again. So in 3, 2, 1, go!
Awesome. It's a nice little halftime break, you know?
Yeah.
Get some Gatorade.
Now I feel like I can really see that screen.
Yeah, go over the game plan, talk to the coach.
I think it's amazing that even this far into the run, we're seeing these runners this close.
Yeah, I mean, there may be favorites and underdogs in each game, but overall, these are like
these are all the best
15
runners.
of the best Mario players in the world, and many of these runners run most of these games. They don't just stick to their game, and so there's just a lot of talent going on right here. It's pretty amazing to see it all in one place.
Here we got Justin going for the star
赤
kill.
チームの人はなんでマント
The
してん
window
の
for it's a lot easier in 4-2 than it is in 2-1, but
This maneuvering that Sven's doing here, this part is pretty
かっけえから
tricky, at least to newer runners, just trying to keep your speed and dodge all of these different things flying at you.
勇者なんでしょ
And you can see Luigi riding an egg with the plant over his head.
so the main
That's
reason
something you're
he's
into.
choosing Luigi right here is because there's a big gap he can jump over right here that skips pretty much the entire stage.
It's important not to go in the wrong door, otherwise you'll be locked out of it.
That's true.
This fight.
We all remember this one.
やっぱケツハエゲツないくらいでかくないとそそらねえな
Really good fight.
That was a great fight. Sven pulling off the star kill himself. While BJW goes for the Fry Guy fight. Oh, that was a great
ステージ
fight.
分ぐらい、
That was risky.
1ステージ分ぐらい離されてんな。
There's a lot of swagger on Team Resnor. They're going for some bold moves.
1ステージ離されてんのしんどいな。
Respect their game.
So much of 5-1 can be skipped just over a series of long jumps. If you miss a jump, you can actually clip into some of those platforms, so not all is lost if some of these runners were to jump
Looks
a bit
like
short.
Justifin's taking a really quick detour for that extra one up.
Yeah, so as we said earlier, this game is really punishing if you game over. You will have to go all the way back to the first level of the world you're in. Other games that we're playing here, a lot less punishment, so taking an extra life there.
腕わかんね
probably not the biggest.
え。わかんねえこれ。
Oh, wow.
So we find our first gray or silver birdo here, and that just means you're not going to get any eggs out of that birdo. You have to throw mushroom bombs at it. There's 3 variants. There's the pink one which will shoot all eggs, the red one which will shoot some eggs and some fire, and then the silver ones which will shoot all fire.
What if I'm colorblind, Skybos?
I think they're still the same color, you just can't see it.
Oh, okay. That's helpful to know.
Alright, so you've seen some different strats.
3時。やっぱ3時のモデルが。
in 5-2 now.
いや、別に今の3時のモデルがあって別に3時半をモデルにしたわけじゃないから。違うんだ。
This game very unique just in that you can have so many different strategies. In Super Mario Brothers 1, we saw overarching strategies that people maybe do differently. But this game kind of goes by level how you feel comfortable, and that's kind of a really interesting thing, especially in a marathon like this. So many different approaches.
Great fight over here by Justifin. That's a really tough birdo. That's one of the earlier birdos that we encounter that shoots both fireballs and eggs. There's a gap, it's kind of a smaller segment. It can be very challenging. Another great fight by BJW.
So every time you're seeing Luigi jump off the vine like this, that's just an 8-frame window for him to do it. And obviously you can just way quicker.
So now we're getting into level 5-3, probably one of the longest levels of the game. The boss strategy is very interesting here. You need to throw the projectiles into the wall, and you can get anywhere from, I want to say, 2 to 5 hits.
Marbles.
Anywhere from just the normal 1 to 8 to, in some rare cases, being able to get all 5 at once. This is probably the most challenging stage in terms of a casual play, but this is also kind of a nail biter for a speedrun as well. So it's really amazing watching these guys play this so efficiently. You're gonna see Justifin going for the carpet glitch right here. He's gonna spawn 2 carpets, and that's going to make the original carpet move a lot faster, especially because at the time Toad is also holding an item, so you get an extra speed boost there. Oh wow.
That was sweet.
Almost the triple. And now he's going to be going into the clawclip fight. This is a crab that throws rocks. He's going to be trying to get his hands on one and bank it off the back wall.
Really nice.
That is extremely hard to pull off for what it's worth. I don't know if that was obvious from watching it.
Really nice fight by BJW still.
Team Resnor and Team Boom Boom pretty tight. Team Birdo not far behind. Still really tight.
これね、なんていうの、写真モデルさん見て帰ってるからな。
We have a $200 donation from Wallach that says, Team Birdo, Sven is the man.
Yeah.
We also have a $20 donation that says, Go BJW. I had no idea you were running today, but I love watching you run when you do. Much love, Coco.
Coco. Nice
kill. All 3 teams within a minute of each other.
So this is probably one of the most interesting stages to watch. It's very challenging to learn how to do this. The intended strat for the stage is to just ride one of the albatrosses off to the right. But you're going to see these runners choosing to use Luigi and making these very precarious jumps between enemies. Most of these jumps do line up somewhat naturally, but there are a few that are very difficult to pull off. A small frame window right off of the end of one enemy just barely gets you onto the next one.
Yeah, it's always been strange to me. It's almost like they set that up as an Easter egg to find because of the way those birds are just lined up so naturally to use with Luigi.
Definitely.
My least favorite part of Super Mario Brothers 2, getting chased by that mask. I have nightmares from being a kid. Just always after you.
Well, you know what? I don't think it scares these runners.
So
I don't think it does.
Coming up in 6-3, we have a potion jump here coming up on Just Defend's screen.
Yeah, Just Defend and the other runners are going to be trying to use the potion to bank off of and jump over the wall. That's excellent. The alternative is going underneath the wall, which takes time to sink under the sand, and then you move much more slowly in the sand. BJW pulling off without any trouble.
This is Sven doing the albatrosses now.
Yeah, he goes for it with a slight variant in the strat. He doesn't take the vegetable, which is slightly faster. You don't waste the time picking up the vegetable, but it's very dangerous to do because you only have a 1 tile wide gap to land on that little island versus a 3 tile wide. This Triclide fight is very interesting. You saw Justifin going for an extremely aggressive variant of the strat. BJW went for, I think, the more common variant.
What you're about to see is 7-1 and 7-2, the abbreviated version. Very short levels caused by some sequence breaks going on.
Yeah, this level in general is supposed to be extremely long. I mean, 7-2 even worse off. Here we go, Sven going for the potion jump. Gets it without trouble, no trouble. All right, Justifin was unfortunate to have the enemy that he needed to jump off of despawn, so he's currently trying to get him to spawn back, but unfortunately those pots just keep spitting out enemies and it's causing problems. There he goes.
Is that due to a sprite limit?
It's a sprite limitation. All it takes is getting slowed down just a little bit. I think there's some other things that cause it as well, but losing that enemy, going under is really not a better option. Really, it's better to always go back and try to reset.
Sven taking it safe there because he was small. Off
I think he made the right call there.
It's
an extremely difficult fight, even for speedrun strats.
Especially in a marathon like this, the strategy is really interesting because you don't necessarily need to win or lose your race. You're trying to keep your team in the mix. Sometimes being has a price to pay, not just yourself, but the rest of your team.
An interesting thing we're doing that we saw from Justifin and BJW is you can actually use the little invulnerability period you get whenever you pick up an enemy. You'll probably see it from Sven here as well. As Luigi, or really as any enemy, when you're picking up an item, you get some vulnerability. You benefit from it more as a character like Peach or Luigi who pick up items very slowly, but during that whole time you're invulnerable. So if you want to pick up a block while Birdo's firing at you, you can just wait until the shot is just about to hit you and then pick up the block and you're invulnerable as the shot goes through you.
It makes a lot of the Birdo fights way easier.
So this sequence break actually has the interesting benefit of being able to have the key already spawned even before you get the Birdo, which allows you to basically just skip it entirely.
Wait, that's not Bowser.
Yeah, so in this game we're fighting Wart. I think you guys are mostly familiar with this. Some interesting things to note are that as long as these runners don't die in this stage, you can actually guarantee what pattern you get off of the vegetable machine. So it starts spawning in the middle, the next one spawns on the right, then in the middle, then on the left, and back and forth in that way. If they were to die and have to come back into the stage, you actually get the same pattern, but you just don't know where it's going to start from. And with that, we have BJW finishing up Super Mario Brothers 2 US first. That really speaks to BJW's skill in this game. I mean, with the previous run, we had Cosmic finishing up SMB1 last, and just in that time, BJW was able to pull his team into the first, and we just now have Justifin finishing up Super Mario Brothers 2 US. Both of these runners right around a 24-minute time. Really solid work.
Sven really not too far behind either.
No, absolutely not.
It's been a really tight race all along. No major mistakes that have put any team really far out of it. I think we're within about a minute or minute and a half of each other. Oh, and Sven taking an unfortunate death on Wart there.
The fight against Wart can be extremely challenging.
But it was right at the beginning of the fight, which means it really didn't lose more than probably 10 seconds.
So as Sven getting that first vegetable out of the left side of the machine, he now instantly knows what his pattern's going to be. No problems.
Oh. And Oglib kicking off SMB3 over here.
All right. So in Super Mario Bros. 3, we have had power-ups so far, but at this point we're going to have to deal with a different kind of element, and that is items. We're going to be using some items to be skipping some stages throughout the game. So inventory management is very important, something we're going to be talking about throughout the game. You don't want to grab 3 of any item throughout the game. You want to have differences because you will lose time if you get 3 stars or 3 fire flowers. 3 mushrooms isn't really that big of a deal. We will have also the P-speed meter as well.
Ooh. A bit of a scary fight to warp, but Sven pulls it off. Sub 26. This Get race is still definitely close.
There we go. And with that, we just ended up Super Mario Bros. 2 US by Sven. Oglib and Karoo are both off to an excellent start with SMB3. This is going to be a very challenging game to pull off. Management of P-speed is extremely challenging.
This is the game based off the movie The Wizard?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the one.
So right here, what's going to happen is we're actually not going to play Boom Boom in this fortress. We're going to be taking the whistle. Ha ha ha, Wizard references, I know. But this whistle is actually going to skip. This whistle is going to skip this part of the stage. It comes with a little bit of a cost here. The whistle is normally what you would use to warp, so that whistle is going to stay in your inventory. You better not mash the buttons, otherwise you're going to be sent off to a far-off lane. You don't want to do that in a warpless race. We call it no tooting.
I think it's important to note that my boy Pooh has the freshest hat collection of any of the runners in this whole marathon.
That's true, and I think that that's going to make a big difference for this race.
He actually had to bring an extra suitcase just filled with hats.
So the first of many Hammer Brothers. Hammer Brothers can cause a ton of RNG in SMB3. We also have the Overworld, which wasn't an element in the other 2 games. Those Hammer Brothers are going to cause some complications as to which items they carry, where do they head. What I want to know, and we'll talk about that in World 2 coming up, is whether or not any of these players are going to get early Hammer, and if so, why they chose to do that during a marathon versus not. But the Hammer will allow them, if they access it early in World 2, to skip 3 stages early on, at the cost of having to do an extra fortress in World 4.
So Skyanoff, this is the first game that we have here in this race that involves P-speed. Do you want to talk about kind of the difficulty of maintaining P-speed and how that affects the speed run versus the other ones we've watched so far?
Yeah, so this game is the first to implement a P-meter, which means that you do have to build up a certain amount of run speed before you get the opportunity to run at your full potential. The difficulty here is that this game punishes you in certain ways, such as movement back and forth, running over pits. Any moment that Mario's feet aren't on the ground, you're probably being punished against. You're being punished with your P-meter dropping. These runners are all really used to this, and in general, the thing is that just looking at the P-meter usually isn't enough to tell the full story. A competent runner can usually sort of internalize how far off they are away from, getting their full P-speed.
Definitely. Losing P-speed or getting hit can definitely throw off a level that, it looks so easy when you have your P-speed and do it perfectly, but just the littlest of mistakes can throw off a level so easily in this game. Also, I think this game needs more auto-scrollers. What do you think?
No.
Worth noting that Karoo is the current world record holder for this category with an incredible time, but both of these runners, Oglib and Grand Pooh Bear, have both improved their PBs quite recently. They actually have really, really great times. This is going to not just be a close match, I think, but it's also going to be really impressive. It's one thing to have a bunch of people who are playing at a 55 or a 58-minute time being all matched, but being able to see them play at this level and play this competently or consistently is
Karoo is around a 51-minute time, I believe.
Yeah, he's got a
53.
50, 52, I think.
It's just really amazing.
So right here, the urge to kind of jump and grab the wand is strong, but here you actually want to stay at the bottom of the screen and just pick up the wand as it falls to you, because it does save time from Mario falling even further if you jump to get the wand.
Toad's animation there, really amazing to me. In a lot of distress. We're going to help him out, don't worry.
We have a $5,000 donation.
Wow!
From the Kobold Inn, saying, such an amazing event GDQ is with so many incredible people running and donating. Shoutouts to my favorite runner, Pooh.
Absolutely.
Save the Toadstool, save the princess, save the kingdom, and as always, save the animals. Go Team Birdo.
Woo!
So you may think that if you've ever watched some of the runs like Super Mario World, for instance, where runners tend to rely very heavily on their cape, you might think that the preferred power-up for a game like this would be the leaf. But honestly, even just playing this game casually, you get quite the impression that the leaf is quite a bit slower. Using the raccoon tail is slower for movement, and that's exactly what you're going to see throughout the course of this run. There's going to be a few stages where runners will probably be using their P-Wing if for no other reason than just the easy access to a leaf when they need it. But in general, most of these runners are going to be sticking to either Small Mario or Fire Mario, depending on what stage they're in. And that's going to be kind of an important thing to note. This game would be quite a lot easier if they were able to use their leaf, but they just won't.
Absolutely. Sky, why don't you talk about some of the other items that you can pick up that are useful for the game? You mentioned the hammer. What else is there in this game that kind of just makes a difference in the speed run?
Now, we're not going to see the players use the tails often. However, there is an item called the P-Wing. The P-Wing is going to be used to break a couple of levels, such as 6-9. There's also the Jugum's Cloud, which is going to be used to skip entire stages. The one drawback is, and I will have to remind players of this unfortunately, is if you die in a stage after you've used a cloud, that will negate what has happened. So if you die in 3-8, you will go back to 3-4 because that is what the worthless route uses.
Yeah, so if you are using the cloud to skip an auto-scroller and then you die in the next level, you're going to end up having to redo that or have to actually go into that auto-scroller.
What even happened there?
We're also going to see a couple variants in the SMV3. Grand Pooh Bear is actually going to be using hammer strats to defeat Bowser, whereas Kuru and Gliv both use the fire suit.
Wow, that was honestly, I wouldn't have even known what to do in that circumstance. That was amazing that Glib was able to recover that.
Absolutely.
That was amazing. Honestly. He got really unlucky with the corner clip in the situation, and I think either panic or really just not wanting to lose his Fire Flower at the time just took out both of the Koopas, so he had to go back for another one.
Yeah, it's definitely underrated having the ability to react in that way to something that's very unusual to happen in your speedrun versus, you know, you have general mistakes that happen that you have backup strats for, but to just know a game well enough to react immediately on what to do. And unfortunately, Gil getting some bad luck with the Hammer Brother, just going right on top of him there.
I think bad luck's a little bit of an understatement, John Carlos. So what Glib's going to do here is use the hammer. We're actually going to skip the desert stage and world stage 5, and he's going to have to do the fortress in world 4. So we're going to get to see a stage in Worthless we normally will not get to see, so that's kind of exciting.
Glib just wants more airtime. It's fair.
We have a $500 donation from Raz that says, "Go Team Birdo, go Pooh. I like you just the way you are."
Woo! I'm getting a sense a lot of people like Grand Pooh Bear.
Now, one thing that you're probably going to see a lot of, and you may not notice it, it can be very subtle at times, but if you run at full speed with full P meter into the end of the stage, you pretty much always are guaranteed to get the same card. You're always going to get the star card, which, if you're just playing this game for fun, is fine. That's 5 lives every time you get 3 star cards, so that really adds up. But you will see them try to subtly lose a little bit of speed, usually, toward the end of the stage, just to offset what card they're going to get, because they desperately want to avoid getting 3 of the same card. 3 of the same card definitely is going to lose them a lot of time. So
yeah, there's a whole animation that shoots up fireworks and gives you a bunch of lives.
So you're saying all of these runners aren't patriotic? It's not just fireworks, it's a star.
You got me pretty good there.
As if you don't have enough to worry about in this game, so there's another thing that's special to this game. The Hammer Brothers can turn into coin ships. While that sounds like that's fun, these coin ships are actually auto-scrollers. You don't want more auto-scrollers in this run. We have enough auto-scrollers in this run. So what's going to happen is we need to make sure these players do not have any multiples of 11 when in the worlds 1, 3, 5, and 6.
I do want to point out that while this game has a ton of room for differences in strats, and we've been fortunate to see almost every game so far, all of these runners using considerably different strats. For the most part, these games are going to look very similar for SMB3. You're going to see these runners choosing basically the same route. It's pretty set in stone, and there's not a lot of options for them. But one thing that you are going to see as we near closer to the end of the run is you're going to see Grand Pooh Bear using the hammer suit. And that's going to be really exciting because a lot of times you'll see Warpless runners pick up the hammer suit but save it until Bowser. But Grand Pooh Bear is actually going to activate it a lot earlier and use the hammer suit to help him with a lot of World 7 and all of World 8. And there's obviously a backup option for him. If he happens to lose it, it's not the end of the run. He can grab a Fire Flower toward the end, and that's not a problem. But the other two runners are going to prefer the more common and conventional Fire Mario strats. Grand Pooh Bear is going to be the one that's really going to differ here, and it's going to be exciting to see that. In addition to that, the Jugum's Clouds that Skybills mentioned earlier, you can choose which stages you want to skip, and while some of them are pretty obvious choices which ones you would want to skip, there are a few options you can have throughout the run. We're going to see a few of these runners pick different stages throughout, and some of those options are for time saving and some of those options are for safety. And it's going to be interesting to see which stages we see from which runners.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing Grand Pooh Bear and his ultimate swag.
ほら、お風呂でジュン君が待ってるよ。
待っててほしいな。
Very nice 3-2 by Oglet. It's very difficult to not reach the water there. Well done. So now we're going to see a very iconic enemy in this next stage 3-3. This is Boss Bass. And what happens is it doesn't matter how many power-ups you have. If that fish gets to you, you're dead.
これどう長いんかな。
We have a $20 donation from Cole Trooper that says, been waiting all week to donate during the Super Mario race. Go Team Resnar.
Yeah, that's the appropriate reaction.
I mean, wrong team, but still nice to get the money.
I would have to respectfully disagree.
I do appreciate the donation.
けど、ジンベエが時間をかけてしまったせいでジュン君の命はもう。
何が待ってるの？
You can actually go through the third door, and if you press up on the first frame after going through the door, it takes you to the Boom Boom fight correctly. It's, you know, whether it's an oversight, a glitch, an Easter egg, whatever you want to call it, it's very difficult to pull off. And I think all three runners have agreed to go for it at least once.
I think it loses like 7 seconds to go for it in this.
うわこれチームバード追いつけるんかな。
What I'm seeing so far has not saved time.
湯煙殺人事件インボットソウル。
Wow, that was an amazing stage by Grand Pooh Bear. That was
すごいな今。
As Sky mentioned earlier, it's very hard to stay out of the water. That strat's pretty difficult to pull off, and he nailed it.
Yeah, that level's a really good example of how keeping your P-speed and going perfectly, the littlest thing can knock you off that. And especially in that level with the giant fish just waiting to swallow you up, it's the stakes are even higher.
All right, so Kuro finally got his Fire Flower back. I just want to point out that he's been playing at this level this whole time without Fire Flower. A lot of the strats in this game are based around having your Fire Flower.
Ooh, that's close, but the Hammer Brother did stick around so Kuro can get to that. You do not want what we call a runaway Hammer Brother. You do not want them to pass by 3-6. Why? 3-6 is an auto-scroller. You do not want to touch that stage.
Yeah, and each time that you beat a stage or fight a Hammer Brother, the bridge position swaps. And you very much don't want to end up in a situation in which you finally encounter 3-6, but the bridges are not set up for you to be able to skip 3-6 to go directly toward 3-8.
For those watching that might not know much about playing this game, can you explain kind of the Hammer Brother RNG that happens on the map?
Yeah, so every time you exit a stage or beat an overworld enemy, they have the opportunity to move, and there are certain rules about how far they're going to move or where they might be willing to stop. But in general, it can make a pretty significant difference exactly how far a Hammer Brother moves. In fact, you know, there are records for this game that are optimized based on too much Hammer Brother movement can, you know, end the run, basically.
Absolutely.
What Skybills was mentioning before is one of these Hammer Brothers is more or less necessary for this route, and if that hammer goes in the wrong direction and ends up in a section of the overworld map that you don't want to go to, that can be real trouble.
わからん、ここからここまでの長さがどうしても長くなる。いいんかこれ。
So coming up on this third
これだって
airstrike,
どこからどうやって飲んでさ
actually one of the most difficult enemies ever in this game, Wendy, who's actually tougher than Bowser, to be honest. You want to fire kill Wendy because Wendy starts shooting candy rings. Now, all these players will probably fire kill Wendy, which is good. Only one candy ring will stand there. You lose fire, things get a little more interesting.
それは目が慣れちゃってるから気づけないパターンだね。
Average Guardian donates $1,000.
Wow.
Saying, I don't think we have enough hype for Team Birdo. Good luck, Pooh, you got this.
一回風呂は色。
I am required to make a marble meme, so marbles.
Marbles.
ほんまに困った時は元絵を一回トレスしてポーズ確認したり、機械体系のイラスト見ながら比べたりする。風呂か筋トレ。風
呂か筋トレ。ああ、風呂入ってくるかな。
Alright, we got Kuroe here entering the Windy fight. The movement's very specific when you watch these runners do these fire kills. You don't want to situate yourself too far away from the Koopa Kid because if you're too far away, it takes a long time for your fireballs to hit. These spawns to be fire more of them. You don't want to be too close because they're starting to pressure you into the corner, basically.
Absolutely.
Right here, we've got Glib entering the Windy fight.
ジンベエ、最近、筋トレ。
筋トレしたいな。
So teams Reznor and Boom Boom still within about 20 seconds of each other.
Excellent. So Crew is heading into World 4. World 4 notable because of all the large enemies in the stage. This is sort of like a Mario has shrunk down world.
Yeah. Such a cool concept when you play this as a kid.
Now it is important to note that Team Boom Boom is a bit more in the lead right now than they appear to
Team
be.
Birdo
Because remember, Oglib did use his hammer during World 2, so he will have to go through the fortress in the first part of World 4.
もう1ステージ差じゃん。チームレズナーと。
So in this world, Hammer Brother RNG can make somewhat of a difference. You don't necessarily need to get all of the Hammer Brothers, but it does help that the Hammer Brother fights in this world are particularly easy. When you enter one, you don't have to deal with two Hammer Brothers or a Boomerang Brother that sort of forces you to move in a particular way. The Hammer Brothers in this one are Sledge Bros, which are just a single large Hammer Brother that's particularly easy to kill, to be honest. Of all of the Hammer Brothers, I'd say it's probably one of the more straightforward fights. So while Hammer Brother RNG can definitely make a difference, it doesn't hurt you to get extra ones in this quite as much as it does in some of the other worlds.
World 4-3, one that Crew is in right now.
Crew is just showing
Going
off
for some
his
pretty
movement
tough
ability.
jumps, not gonna lie.
Crew is showing that he's a little bit a step above when it comes to movement and that level. You can just really see what it means to be world record holder there.
That is the stage where you first learn how to use P-Speed, though, if you're first starting to learn how to speedrun this game. 4-3 is a great example of the level you're supposed to learn in.
So you saw their Crew use his hammer to skip having to fight one of the forts. In this, we're going to see the Lakitu bounce. He's going to set up in a very specific way so that he can get on top of the Lakitu and skip pretty much half of the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, the stage is more or less done now. Double Lakitu bounce.
And Lakitu's dead, so
yeah,
double win.
Excellent movement through that stage. It's sometimes difficult just to look at these and realize how subtle the movement differences are.
Absolutely.
And just be able to see how small things that they're doing are affecting how different enemy patterns allow them to move through the stage more quickly. Crew opted to use his music box right there to skip over the remaining Hammer Brothers. He knew what he had gotten from the first Hammer Brother, and he decided that he didn't need what the rest of them were holding.
Nice for Fortress 1 by Oglib.
We have a $200 donation from Anonymous that says, "Go Team Reznor."
I'm not hearing a lot of donations for Team Boom Boom. I'm assuming that people are holding out for the underdogs.
I heard their host, like, they weren't a fan of the host. The commentator.
Okay, yeah, all right. I can take the criticism.
He said you were too tall. Oh, that's weird.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Fu doing the Lakitu jump there as well.
Now there is an item that Glib could have used here. You actually have that music box. That can be used to skip some Hammer Brothers and some levels later on in World 7, but it's best to use that on the bottom of World 5, so much quicker to kill the Sledge Brother than the two Hammer Brothers.
Great movement by Glib through this stage. This is it's kind of interesting if you watch a lot of Super Mario Brothers versus this game. In Super Mario Brothers, your fireballs move just barely faster than Mario does, which means if you fire a fireball, it always conveniently stays right out in front of you. Whereas in this game, Mario runs considerably faster than his fireballs, so sometimes you'll see the way that they fire, their patterns are firing right as they're about to hit an enemy, so that it's that brief moment where the fireball does actually get to be in front of them. Otherwise, they just pass it by.
The Hammer Brothers are kind of cute.
一回トレスしてから見て書くと仕組み理解しやすい気がする。
Alright, so since we're literally on the longest level of the relay, or up there at least, that would be a good time for donations.
No problem. First, we have a $20 donation from Calico that says, "Hey guys, never gotten to watch a GDQ event live before, let alone donate. Figured I'd do so during one of my favorite game series that was among my first as a gamer. Go Team Boom Boom."
Nice.
I also got...
Lots of people have judgment.
I also got a $100 donation from Oglib.
What?
What? How does this happen? Greetings from the World 4 airship. Didn't have much else to do right now, so I figured I'd get my donation in. Thank you so much to all my fellow runners and to everyone who helped me put this amazing relay together. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with you all and to help DWB with all the great work they do. Team Resnar.
Oglib not only able to keep his own in this speed game, but also able to donate money at the same time. Pretty impressive.
I didn't even see him pull out his phone. It's brilliant.
Must be Google Glass or something.
Probably.
Took a selfie in this stage last year.
Okay, Google. Donate $100 to Games Done Quick.
Well, maybe not Google, but I know the Yeti donated $5,000.
Woo!
Saying, "Hey all, Yeti Glenn here. Gotta show my love for Team Birdo." But also, shout outs to Team Boom Boom. My daughter Penny is rooting for you. She even made her own sign. After watching these events since 2012, it's so special to be able to share it with my daughter. Put this donation towards killing the animals, only to balance the race and the Fuzzy Pickles run.
Being a fan of Team Boom Boom and Team Birdo is kind of like being a Red Sox fan and a Yankees fan. I don't think it's acceptable. I don't know. I think you got to pick a lane there.
So you saw right at the beginning. I'm sorry. You saw right at the beginning of World 5 that Kuro went ahead and used his whistle. And that may have seemed strange. And in a typical warpless run, obviously you would never do that. But while it's extremely detrimental to use your whistle at the wrong time, which is always, at the beginning of World 5, it's convenient to just get it out of your inventory. So Kuro made the educated decision that any smart person would do, which is to go ahead and get that whistle out of their inventory.
なんかごめんくっそめんどくさかった記憶あるな。
Both Oglib and Grand Pooh Bear here.
Yeah. I don't like how you...
ごめんって土管のとこじゃないの?
We have a $150 donation from Loser141 that says, "Let's go Team Resnar. Let's save those frames, kill those animals, and speedrun raising 1 million. Money to runner's choice."
あ、雲んとこか。ごめんって。
This audience is very diverse.
Now, Alglib already has 2 stars. Better be careful not get a 3rd one. We don't want to see a fresh 5 up.
チームブンブン早いな。
Glib, I think you could use 5 more lives. Go ahead and get that star if you don't mind.
土管の国は7とかやろ。
So you see Karua here going through the tower. This tower is used in World 5 to connect the ground level to the sky level. This is Sky World as it is. So he has to go through this tower forward if he wants to get to the top. You can actually use the tower to come back down to the beginning if you want to, but why would you do that?
Food Spam donates $1,000.
やばい。現実逃避した。
Team Birdo and Pooh Nation represent.
Pooh Nation?
Hammer Suit Kill, let's do this, brother. Great event as always.
ああ、だいぶ良くなったんじゃないの。良くなったんじゃないですか。おい、おい。
So Karua, the first one to enter the top area of Sky World, with Oglib and Grand Pooh Bear both right behind. This is extremely close.
Alglib just used the music box, put a couple Hammer Brothers to sleep. Making sure that he doesn't have to stop at each one of those. Now, he will have another one by the time he gets to World 7.
すいません、お好み焼きに夢中で、だいぶバランスいいね。
The items you get at the end of the fighting the Hammer Brothers, are those randomized?
No.
So they have a set.
Yeah, you can spot which one's on which world as long as you can see them at the beginning. You know which one's holding which, I believe. But you know, it's very easy in the fray to lose track of which one's which, especially if they pass one another, for instance.
Absolutely.
Some of the levels in World 5, it's very difficult to get P speed during them, and it's very difficult to not fall. A lot of gaps in stages in stage 5.
Still don't have a death up at this point in the Mario 3 race from any of the runners, which is just really kind of shocking.
So Karua losing his Fire Flower there is going to cost him a few seconds just on the Boom Boom kill, but honestly, nothing to be worried about.
How did Mario get up to these clouds?
Using the tower?
Yeah, respect the lore.
Ah.
Alright, Hammer Brothers in perfect position for Oglib. All that Hammer Brothers carrying is a music box again, which he won't need another one.
Pooh losing Fire Flower there. Fortunate.
Alright, Jugum Cloud being used again to skip 5-9, which is actually a diagonal auto-scroller. Haven't seen anything quite like that in other games, but unfortunately we won't get a chance to see that.
あれまた知らない差つけられてるよ。
Known lover of auto-scrollers.
あれシーンなんか
It's on the record.
We have a $500 donation from E. Diddy Tampa saying, as always, thank you to everyone involved. Good luck to all the runners. Cheers. And go Team Resnar.
Yes.
They wouldn't even be my 3rd favorite team.
Wow, thanks, John.
Getting very salty here, it sounds like.
そう、ちょっと精査してくれ。
Very nice. 5-8 is one of the toughest stages to keep P-speed throughout. Oglib nails it. So this is Roy. Roy has an earthquake mechanism, which you don't want to be on the ground when Roy lands. Otherwise, it's very easy to get comboed and killed, even with Fire Flower.
みんな信じます。
左足が前に出てるのか後ろにあるのかどっちなんや。
We have a $20 donation from Muddy Waters that says, "Love me some Author Blues and Sky Bills."
Ouch!
You're okay though. Like in
We have a
Small doses.
$10 donation from Author Blue with no S that says, "Singular Author Blue here, donating for Team Birdo because I want to see my handsome imposter Author Blues play a bad game of John Carl's choice."
Good man. I'm definitely a bigger fan of Author Blue than Author Blues. I'm going to put that out there.
Makes sense, fewer letters.
Yeah. A lot easier to spell.
I think this airship needs more cannons.
Worth noting, not worth as many points in Scrabble though.
Ooh. That double word score really just...
右足と左足の前後関係が分かりにくい。
So on Kuro's side, at the beginning of World 6, we're using the hammer gun. Skip 3 stages this time.
Kuro using his iframes to be able to get over that spike pit, not having to wait for the platform to scroll all the way over there.
He's going to be going for a star kill, yeah. He's going to be trying to keep this star all the way to the Boom Boom fight. Finish him off instantly. Enjoy your upside down orb. Orb!
この体勢は右が前でしょ。
この体勢だと右が前やな。
How much of a temptation is it to just
これ違う
move
前。
around when you're in these auto scrollers?
All of the
こっ
temptation.
ちが前。
You can lose runs to that. You gotta be careful. Keeping your focus through auto scrollers like this is actually really difficult to do.
So even though he lost a little bit of speed there, that was actually very fortunate for Kuro. Those the spinning platforms there have a tendency to grab a hold of you and sort of throw you straight down to the pit. I have to imagine that's specifically what they were designed for. Oh, nice runaway. Oh my god. Well, enjoy that. Yeah, as mentioned before, you know, Hammer Brothers have very specific rules about where they can move, where they can stop, and how far they want to move. And that was one of those situations where every single time the Hammer Brother tried to stop, he decided to just keep going.
Nice iframe boost for Ogwood as well.
We have a $200 donation from Amy Star that says, "I've always meant to give Doctors Without Borders money when I had some, and now I do. Go Team Boom Boom."
Team Boom Boom gaining some bandwagon fans here in the audience. Just kidding, guys. I love you.
All right, using the raccoon tail in order to fly through large portions of this castle or fort can save quite a lot of time, and Kuro pulled it off expertly.
Pooh going for the star kill on Boom Boom. Runners within about a minute and a half of each other, so still really close in this overall race.
Extremely close.
If you just tuned in, we're still got 2.5 games left and really no clear outcome yet.
So right here, World 6-5 is actually one of the most unique levels in all of Super Mario Bros. 3 because the exit of this is actually through the top. You need a tail to do this. P-Wings preferred, so you don't have to gather up P speed and go through the pipes.
Lots of runners being frustrated with the Hammer Brother patterns here.
All right, hardest level coming up here on Kuro's side. I think he's going to need some serious time. All right, good. Awesome level.
That was impressive. Holding right for that long.
Good work, bud. So you may think that hit was accidental, but really just wants to burn that leaf as early as possible, as I mentioned before. Wow, playing with fire there.
You really only want the raccoon tail when it is needed and beneficial. If not, it's going to slow you down.
なんで逆に前後関係が分かりにくくなるのかな。でもこれ隙間開けんとおかしなのかな。
そういえば車載動画上げてたけど定期的にやるの？
だから明日さ、プジョーの1日市場があるから、それでやろうかなと。まあそのうちゴルフでもやりたいんだけど、俺のゴルフでも。
Grand Pooh Bear pulling off.
まああれだけじゃなくてね、あれだけじゃ車載だけじゃなくて車全体とかもあれも出そうかなと思って。まあナンバー隠すあれもやしながらさ、ボットへのナンバー隠しも使いながら。
Shoutouts to flying boats.
We have a $200 donation from the 5 o'clock shadow that says, because I attended grad school with Author Blues, gotta go with some Team Boom Boom. Let's get some Team Boom Boom hype!
So this person knows you personally and is rooting for your team.
Well, he knew there was a ground there, but I didn't know there was a ground there.
もしかして俺えらい難しいポーズやってる？そんなわけないな。そんなことないでしょ。
We have another $200 donation from Bird Lawn that says, "Go Team Birdo! Good luck, Pooh."
もう一回見るな、ポーズ見るか。
We have a $150 donation from Victory Formation that says, "Here's to the cause, to Team Boom Boom."
Crew grabbing the wand out of the air for swag.
ピッチリ衣装が見に行き過ぎて。
Not to get his hammer suit swag.
It's true. Which I think we're getting pretty close to seeing hammer suit swag.
ピッチリいいですよね。
I was hoping that Pooh would wear a real hammer suit, but refused. Glib trying to leave the auto scroller from the left doesn't seem to be working for him, but you know, no reason not to try. It doesn't lose any time.
All right, so we've got a clip right here at the beginning of World 7, 7-1. He's going to be trying to clip right through the corner of this block here without going through the door.
Third try. That's really good. That's really good.
And that skips the entire stage right there. So.
Skipping the stage is really helpful. Really good.
Corner of this block here without going through the door.
Third try.
That's really good.
That's really good.
And that skips the entire stage right there. So
skipping the stage is really helpful for not spending as much time playing the game.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. It's a good strategy. Who opting not to try and move the level on the left? He's just accepted his fate.
じゃあちょっとお風呂入ってくるわ。
Crew's going here for a setup. It looks a little strange, but he's going for a setup to get P speed early on in the stage, which allows him to skip going through a little pipe segment to reveal invisible blocks. The nice thing about being small Mario only there is that you can actually land directly on the other pipe.
We have an anonymous $200 donation saying, "Been waiting all week for this race. Go Team Birdo. Marbles, 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 marbles. Put this to naming Pooh's name in Earthbound, Melvin."
I get the feeling that you're the person here who understands the least about the marbles thing, and yet you seem more excited than the donors.
Have you ever watched his stream?
Oh, I've watched it.
You say marbles a lot.
No, I get that. I'm saying you don't understand it.
Oh, I understand.
All right, here comes Ogliv's 7-1 clip.
Third try as well. Very impressive.
It's not mac and cheese Ogliv, but it'll do. Mac and cheese is the random name that they gave to first try 7-1 clip.
We have a $250 donation from Sahara that says, "Already donated during Twilight Princess, but seeing these guys and girls do it Super Mario inspired me to open my wallet." Good job right there. Go Team Resnar. Money goes to Runner's Choice.
Everybody honestly getting the clip much faster than most people that I watch run this game. So.
But you only watch me?
Yeah. That was the point.
チームバード壁抜けてこずる。
And we got a $10,000 donation from Notch himself saying, "Hey guys."
It's a good message. Here you see Karu going for some clips as well. There's a whole chain of these clips that you can go for in a row, and they can save a ton of time going through kind of this windy level. Do you want to explain some of the tech behind how you get these clips?
Yeah, so you just crouch jump into the corner, but what you're looking for is you're looking to actually catch your foot on the on what we refer to as the wall clip pixel. So every 16 pixels, it sort of represents what the game considers maybe ground to stand on. And so if you can manage to jump into the corner while crouching, catching your foot on what we call the wall clip pixel actually allows Mario to stand back up, something he shouldn't be able to do while he's in midair. And if you can stand up right there, getting his head stuck in the ceiling makes the game start to force him to the right. That's the basic premise.
That pixel is the same pixel you'll see people do wall jumps off of, correct?
Correct. So all of the other runners that you're going to see here are going to be using their cloud to skip this stage right here. This is the second fortress in World 7. This is a very common stage to be skipped in the warpless category, just because it's incredibly difficult to pull off, and even more difficult to pull off quickly. But Karu is actually going to opt to...
Wow, just pulling that level off like it's not even a challenge.
Karu is actually going to opt to instead skip the fortress in World 8. Now, here's sort of what you need to know about that. Skipping the fortress in World 8 is a longer stage, so it's a calculated choice to save time by doing that. But the alternative result is that now not only did he have to play a more difficult stage, but if he loses his fire over the course of World 8, he's not going to have the option in the fort in 8 to get it back. And that's going to be a problem. Grand Pooh Bear is taking this opportunity to grab his hammer suit.
Woo! Big shout outs to Hammer Suit. Kind of the only way to play the game, if you ask me.
We did.
No, you didn't ask me, did you?
I didn't.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
Nice clips by Glib over here. Wow.
Oh.
Nice.
Nice.
Very well done by Glib. Here,
He was past the point at no return at that point. After that clip, he was actually trapped in that segment. So it's not like a lot of the other clips where if you miss it, you can just cancel out and go back and try another path. He was committed at that point.
Who getting the first clip? Oh, and the second clip. Oh!
At that point, it's just showing off.
It's the swag clip. You gotta have that Hammer Brother suit on to do that one.
Gotta be rules against showboating.
A lot of bad things about you, Sky. I'm sorry.
Well, mostly bad things about Team Reznor, but
Yeah.
I feel like that reflects directly on you as a commentator.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Another airship.
Another auto-scroller.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are starting to get tired of auto-scrollers, because we're heading into World 8. Thankfully, we won't be seeing any more of those.
Yeah, I don't think there's even one in World 8, is there?
What did these two say about me while I was gone? All right, so we're coming off on the 8th world here. Very interesting variant, going to make a big difference in the relay, the hand stages. You can get anywhere between 1 and 3 hands, so right after the naval ship, be sure to put in your bets 0 through 3.
So just explaining the hands a bit more, there's these hands that come up on the map that'll grab the character or not grab them. Each hand that grabs you, you have to do an additional level. So you clearly save a whole lot of time not getting any hands versus having to do multiple additional levels. What are the statistics behind that?
Well, it's I mean, for a task, it's easily manipulated, but for a human, you've got roughly a 50-50 shot of being pulled into each stage. So, I mean, just based on the numbers, you're looking at a 1 in 8 shot of getting 0 hands, a 1 in 8 shot of getting 3 hands, and a relatively even shot of getting 1 and 2 hands. That's most likely what we're going to see is 1 or 2 hands for each person.
That's some pretty slick math, man.
I did it in my head.
Nice.
And to reiterate, you have an equal chance of getting 0 and 3 hands.
We have a $50 donation from Quintopia that says, "Good Hammer Brothers, great clips, no hands, get it done." A $50 donation from Freelancer42 that says, "Go Team Birdo. Also kill the animals, save the marbles."
Gotta save the marbles.
This Fire Flower is going to do a lot of favors for Kurua in this world. It's going to allow him to kill the Boom Booms and kill the Boomerang Brothers pretty quickly throughout the course of this world.
Now, you may think there's nothing to do in these auto-scrollers, but there is a small amount of time being saved with, from lag reduction by eliminating certain enemies and making sure that certain explosions happen. Cannons do not happen.
That's a special message just for the Hammer Brothers suit, isn't it?
Pooh's a special guy.
You get a special message whenever you have a frog suit, a Tanuki suit, or a Hammer Brother suit.
Nice. Yeah, the king said that he wanted his clothes.
Frog suit's pretty lit as well.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as the Hammer suit.
Not fast, but, you know, fresh.
It's the closest suit to being a frog that they have in this game, for sure.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
All right, so while we're on cruise and here in Naval Ship, be sure again in your chat, 1, 2, or 3 hands for Kura. Maybe we might see the fabled 0. We'll see.
What's the winning prize, Sky?
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, it's maybe worth noting really quickly that Crew is actually slightly further ahead than it seems. He's 1 full auto-scroller ahead, but in addition to that, he is going to have the opportunity to cloud the fortress in World 8 as well, which is definitely a longer fortress. So he's got a little bit of a lead. Just talking pure numbers, Grand Pooh Bear with the Hammer Brothers suit will be able to get a slightly faster kill on Bowser, but just in general, Fire and Hammer are going to be roughly the same in terms of time.
Saves about 2 seconds overall, but it adds about 10 points of swag, I think, approximately.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Moment of truth.
Oh.
Almost.
So close.
Pooh disappointed by the lack of 3 hands for Kurua.
One still isn't too bad, though. If you are going to get 1 hand, though, the middle hand is actually the one you want to get. It is the shortest of the 3 hands.
Well, at least it wasn't the first one.
Oh, look, another auto-scroller.
I mean, honestly, now would be a great time for just a few donations.
No problem. We have a $75 donation from Matthew that says, "Hi, Phoenix. Go Team Birdo."
Good choice.
We have a $50 donation from the Nerd Wonder that says, "This is the strangest Sonic the Hedgehog race I've ever seen." $20 from Anonymous that says, "Go Team Everybody."
Oh, Kurua dying on the auto-scroller.
So, he's actually very fortunate that he did get the last hand, in hindsight, because otherwise he would have actually gone back to the pipe, which meant he would have had to try for all 3 hands again.
Wow.
So, while previously we said that the middle hand would have been the best one for him to get, really glad that he got the last hand.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to do the hands twice.
Speaking of the middle hand, that is the one that Oglet happened to get. Hopefully we don't see the last one again.
I think Glib might get 4 hands, actually.
I'm actually really interested to see what Karua's strats are going to be, because as I mentioned before, he's not going to have the easy access to fire that you would typically have in the Fortress in 8, so...
Will he still be able to get fire for killing Bowser?
I'm not sure, actually. Do you know whether or not he's going to have access to fire anywhere else, really?
He will have access to fire, but it depends on whether or not he plans on skipping the Fortress.
Well, he has the Cloud for it. It would certainly save more time to skip the Fortress.
So the answer is no, then.
Yeah, the Bowser kill will take a significantly longer time without Fire Flower.
I think it's probably going to normalize a lot of this gap.
Absolutely.
So Oglib really getting the best case scenario here of our 3 runners. Only got the middle hand. If you really wanted to troll the runners, if somebody's asking you how many hands did somebody get, if you say 4, you're not a nice person.
Pooh got 2 hands, so getting the brunt of the RNG here. However, he is still an incredibly good-looking guy, so...
Oh. So he chose instead to Cloud 8-2 and say he's going to do the Fortress.
As we said before, being able to react to circumstances you don't normally continue runs in on is a really difficult thing to do in a marathon race, and Karua kind of just showing his overall Mario knowledge right here by knowing immediately what he wanted to do to be able to get the Bowser quick kill.
I feel like to a certain extent this was an obvious choice, but I completely overlooked the option to just Cloud a different stage.
Yeah.
It is important to note, though, that the Fortress is substantially longer than 8-2, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely a costly error on the auto-scroller, but something that's just going to normalize the race in general. I think Team Boom Boom probably still in the slight lead right now.
We'll get our second visit from the Angry Sun here.
That bane of my childhood right there. One thing that is interesting with the Hammer Suit strat is that in that level, Grand Pooh Bear will actually be able to kill the Sun, and it'll make that level incredibly less stressful for him.
I'm excited to see Grand Pooh Bear make Bowser without Hammer Suit.
Oh, me too.
So, Oglib still has his Fire Flower. No worries here. And Karua just showing what all speedrunners do during the very last auto-scroller. It's enough already. We're done with this.
Wow, that was some really clean movement. Great work from Grand Pooh Bear over there.
Pooh Bear just showing he's not just a pretty face. He's got moves. He's got skills. Yeah. So Grand Pooh Bear forgot to activate the star going into this level, which would normally help him run through these rings. So he's going to lose a little bit of time.
He's making the smart decision to just take it a little bit safe. That's really all you can ask for in that situation. And by this point, the star would have run out. So, you know, it only affected him in that first room.
Yeah. Author Blue's compliment made him blush just too hard. Made him weak in the knees.
Ugly.
Wow, nice.
Nice clip by Karua.
So Karua got that clip. He's going to be doing one more clip here. This clip is definitely the easiest one in the game. It's pretty easy to pull off.
It's called the Everyman clip because every man could do it. Just crouch and jump up in that corner and you will flip through the wall.
Nice hitbox, Bowser.
Great one.
Great time by Karua, still keeping Team Boom Boom in the lead.
I mean, honestly, Karua really clutched out the end of that run.
Absolutely.
I mean,
being able to recover from dying in that auto-scroller, knowing how to adjust his strats to be able to pick an additional level, a different level to pass over, and where to find Fire Flower, just showing the kind of expertise he has in the game, not just knowing his own route and what the world record strats are, but knowing the game well enough to adjust. Especially in a marathon race like this, that can be really important. Really mitigating that mistake the most that he possibly could.
No clip for Oglib there, but really didn't lose him much time, so no big deal. Gets the every clip.
Excuse me, young man. Are you supposed to be up here? Young boy?
We're going to see some more of a demonstration of Bowser's. That's a good hitbox. Nice fire kill for Oglid.
Oh, nice clip by Pooh. Real showcase of talent. I think. Oh no! The hammer suit. True says he's sorry, just so you guys know.
That's such an easy mistake to make as well. It's so difficult to make it up those stairs at full speed, and all it takes is hopping off one of those steps.
So this Bowser kill will take a bit longer, but at least he can sit inside his sprite, which is a cool thing to show off. Team Boom Boom getting started on lost levels.
All right, so Ryko Rider is right now picking up off of this one.
So, important thing to note here, version differences right off the bat. Ryko Rider has chosen to go with Lost Levels on the Super Nintendo. Meanwhile, Supersonic is going to be using the FDS version. And also, awesome finish by Pooh.
Nice job by Pooh. Give him a hand.
Nice jump there by Ryko Rider. Keep in mind that with the weirder hitboxes with these piranha plants, he's really having to deal with making sure that he doesn't come anywhere near them. That's pretty much his penalty for playing on the SNES version, which has a lot of nice features in a lot of other ways, but you know, he has to deal with these differences in hitboxes. You're going to see a lot of those differences play out as you watch the Supersonic over there playing on the Famicom Disk System version, the FDS version.
Darbian wanted me to make it clear that this game moves at the speed of molasses. This is the slow version, so.
Okay. Is that why he's playing this version?
I don't know, yeah.
Is he trying to give himself a handicap?
Yeah, I think so. So a lot of people know Darbian. He's a young boy, somewhere between the ages of 14 and 40 years old. Generally powered by the strength of chocolate milk. He has a couple of Mario World records, and pretty sure he's just going to bring Team Birdo right back to the lead here.
Now you'll notice in Lost Levels you actually get two options when you begin the game. You can play as Mario or as Luigi. And there's actually quite a difference between these two characters. So Mario doesn't have as great of a jump, but Mario can stop on a dime. Luigi, amazing jump. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see him, but Luigi skids as if he's on ice. So all three players using Mario for good reason. You don't have to adjust to different controls, so makes sense.
And if you're curious why we're playing this now, we're playing these in the US release order, so we just played through the 3 NES versions. No?
No, it's not necessarily for it's not for release order.
Switches.
Yeah, this game order may seem a little strange, but it was actually optimized for console switches. So
okay,
each team is only switching consoles primarily one time. That's a really tough jump to pull off.
That's true, because SMW did come out before this. So. Darbian showing even 1-1 in Lost Levels, not a trivial level. Honestly, the first world of this game is really difficult. There's a lot of precise platforming in 1-1, and some tight windows for those jumps. Unfortunately, just clipping into one of those piranha plants.
So Ryko Rider is going to be playing this run Small Mario, Darbian's going to be playing this Fire Mario, and Supersonic's going to be playing this Small Fire. So we're really seeing the same breakdown strats that we saw with SMB1. Not really for any particular reason. There was no agreement in advance to show off the strats. It just kind of worked out that way.
And this race for Lost Levels is going to be through 8-4, so they will not be going through the A1 through D4 stages. So just straight through 8-4.
If they did want to go through the letter levels, they would all have to be playing on the Super Nintendo version. On the Famicom version, you have to beat the game so many times to grant themselves access to the letter levels, so through 8-4 only.
Oh, good recovery.
Okay, I think he's just going to take the backup.
Yeah. Getting momentum to get up there is incredibly difficult.
it's a real challenge to actually make use of your momentum properly and time it out with the pattern of the Piranha Plant. You saw there, just worth noting at least one time, that the Raiko and you just saw Darbian do it as well. They're backwards jumping into the flagpoles, and the reason for that is, as mentioned before, you know, you accelerate faster coming off of the top of the flagpole, but in addition to that, you don't have to watch Mario flip to the other side. If they back jump into the flagpole, it totally skips that part, so it's a little bit faster.
So here, a little bit of difference. Here's where Darbian's grabbing his Fire Flower.
So you just saw Supersonic pick up a 1-up towards the end of 2-1. The reasoning for that is, if Supersonic game's over, he does have to begin at the beginning of the previous world. Unlike the Super Nintendo version, much more forgiving, you get to begin at the beginning of that world.
Nice fire kill from Darbian there, using the platform to kind of set himself up to get the fireballs. The fireball kills are kind of strange in how they work with Bowser. He actually has 2 hitboxes, so it can take, I think, as little as 3 fireballs and as many as 5 fireballs to kill him. So to react and meet this correct frame rule in real world record attempts is kind of difficult to maintain.
Nice backup strategy by Supersonic. So fireworks work a bit differently in Lost Levels. Be sure that the last digit of your coins does not match the last digit of your time, otherwise you're going to get fireworks. Very different from Super Mario Bros. 1.
Yeah, this race isn't even close to over if you really consider it. I mean, just the spread in the PBs between these three, and with how consistent a runner like Darbian tends to be, you know, you're looking at the PB breakdown for these 3 runners actually being in the reverse order of the placement in this run right now. So Darbian definitely being one of the more consistent runners, pulling up 3rd place and being able to close the gap with Ryan and Raiko.
We have a $200 donation from Anonymous that says, thanks for a great week of entertainment, guys. Extra kudos to the excellent couch commentators who make every run more interesting.
You're welcome.
Supersonic making it through 2-4, quite out of his element right now, but very much still doing a good job.
Team Bug only 1 level behind Team Res now, so the gap's starting to shorten.
Definitely.
Darbian missing the clip there in 2-4, but only saves.
なんでだ。
残ったのは俺たちだけのようだ。
精鋭たちだな。
Solid fire kill, Bowser by Darbian.
So in 3-1, we are introduced to the springboard. Not
going to use it, but the green
springboard allows Mario to hover over parts of the stage. We're going to see this more prevalent in World 7-3, but this is the first place where we see it in the game.
自分の腕見てみたけど、腕短ってなって。腕短ってなっただけだった。
Various warps that take you back to level 1.
Darbian unfortunately losing Fire Flower there. He's going to have to pick up power-ups coming up. You know what level?
いや、左右で太さ違うな。
I'm not sure. There are plenty of power-ups throughout this run that I think he'll be able to grab them from, but I think he's probably going to be frustrated to have to really slow down at any of them.
Kurua taking a death on 3-4 on the firebar there. The gap between all 3 teams just getting closer and closer now.
え？ちょっと待って。あと1時間もかかるのこれ。うわマリオワールドもやるやん。マジかよ。え？マジで？スーパーマリオワールドもワープなしでやんの？マジかよ。マリオ2で終わりやと思ってたわ。あと1時間か。ちょうど1時間ぐらいか。もう1時間頑張るか。
you know, a lot of times with these races, there's a real risk for one team to just pull pretty far ahead, especially with the, you know, 3 hours of straight platforming. You know, one team kind of having a rough run can do that, but this has stayed really tight almost the entire time.
Absolutely. I think of all of the games that we've seen so far, the game that's had runners with the closest spread in PBs has actually been Super Mario World. You know, we're getting into Super Mario World.
Yeah.
And if this game keeps closing the gap quite as much as it is, I think Super Mario World is going to really be.
もういいっすか、これで自分。
Super Mario World, everybody's PBs just been so close that as the finale maybe.
もうちょっとこう。だいぶ腕短かったな、俺。これから見ると、マジかってなるくらい腕短かった。
Darby taking advantage of a trick there, where if you're getting a mushroom, you're able to, if you jump right as you get the mushroom, you're able to do an additional jump, getting the power up, which can help you meet higher up platforms and stuff. Having to go with the standard.
なんかチーム
still doesn't have a fire flower back.
チームバード。
いつもなんか追いついてんなってなるけど、気づいたら離されてるな、チーム。いやちょっとさ、誰かもう、いや胸毛なくしたくない？今胸毛抜いてるんだけど。
一人だけ上手い人がいるんかな。
マリオワールドで奇跡の逆転してたらめっちゃ熱いな、この前のマリオメーカーみたいに。
I think that little slowdown he went for
ブラジリアンは
was
普通
actually
で
to
一発よ。
offset the
大
fireball
根の投げ
pattern.
どころか鎖骨までもう
And I think that was a really smart choice to make.
すごいよ、あの
Obviously, you
人。
lose a little bit
あの
of
人、
time
覇王色
going
か
down
みたいな
for
武装式だから
like
な。
this. I think
毛
that
で
was
も
a
う武
clever
装
choice
式の
to
覇
actually
気を
slow
一
down
本
just
一
a little
本
bit
の
so
毛
that
にまとって
fireball
るから、あの
pattern
人は。
didn't hit him right when he
だ
was
から
over
攻
that
撃が一切
platform.
とかないよ。
That's a real danger for that castle.
That was actually not the bad fireball. The bad fireball is the one that hits you. That just
いや結局さ、なんか胸毛クリームみたいな、脱毛クリーム、胸毛クリーム脱毛クリームみたいなのもさ、なんていうの、結局さ、脱毛クリームみたいなのもさ、なんていうの、毛先から抜けるみたいな感じじゃないやんか。なんかもうちぎれるに近いやん、あれって。なんかなと思って。
Play on the All-Stars version, it's actually pretty forgiving. You can just keep continuing from the level you left off on, which is really nice. Darby and back to full power up.
Oh. It's alright, Supersonic had the power up. Well done still. 4-4 is a very difficult level.
人としてどうかなと思って。
See how difficult it is to maintain your power-ups in this game.
じゃあ S 手か寄っちゃおっか。
出た。ブラジリアンワックスやるか。ブラジリアンワックス。ピッて剥がすんやろ。ブラジリアンワックスって。
配信でやって。
ブラジリアンワックス。ベッターって塗って固まったところをビッて剥がすんやろ。
そうそう。
いや、てかさ、胸毛ってなんていうの、もうさ、腹の周りっていうか、もうなんていうの、産毛がさ、すごいの。腹の周りさ、産毛がさ、ちょっと生えてきて、へその周りだけちょっとさ、ギャランドゥみたいな感じで生えてきてるから、今日さ、剃ったよね、ちょこっとだけ剃ったんですよ。
You can just kind of see how difficult this run is with just so many of these runners struggling with keeping their power-ups or dying. It's a really difficult, precise run. Heavy resets when you're actually doing attempts, and it's showing why.
Yeah, it's strange. At times you think that the stakes are a lot higher by choosing to play Small Mario in games like this, and they can be, because you gain the sort of consistency of being able to afford to lose a power-up rather than lose a life. But really well-practiced Small Mario runner, it tends to be the case that if you're not
シェーバー、
power-ups,
ひげ剃ってるやつと同じ、
Small Mario at all times.
ひげ剃ってるやつと同じさ、なんていうの、シェーバー使って剃って、で、あと乳液に塗ったから、
with the right momentum, you can actually skip all the way up there and not have to hit those blocks and do a manual climb. It's a good fly forward.
Supersonic performed a pair of tricks in the past stage 5-2, flipping through the pipe to get both power-ups, and then at the end of the stage, to access the end of the stage a bit easier. Well done on clipping the pipe, and it's only available in the FDS version.
Being back to full power-up, Supersonic staying in Small Mario right now.
Oh, and right there was a great example of what I was talking about before. The wind activates at a really inconvenient time. You really want to be able to land on the top block of that staircase, but if you're not prepared for that wind, or it just catches you in the wrong way, it's so easy to just jump right into the drink.
Again, as Alphablues was saying, the amount of recovery needed, though, if you're used to Small Mario strats, being able to stick with that, and Supersonic taking it to 5-4 as well.
死んでもうた。あー言うてたな。
The amount of recovery needed, though, if you're used to Small Mario strats, being able to stick with that, and Supersonic taking a death on 5-4 as well.
This stage here, 5-3, is reminiscent of the puzzle castles from the first game. Those puzzle castles do reappear in this game, but they also the puzzle castles sort of reappear as stages like 5-3, where you have to figure out how it wants to exit a room. Otherwise, the room just continues to loop. In that case, it happened to be a pipe that was just seems barely out of reach.
5-4 is one of those levels, it's much easier to speedrun it than to play it casually.
Darby getting hit by the Potaboo, unfortunately, in 5-4, going back to Small Mario again. Just really having a hard time holding on to that fire power-up, unfortunately. But still alive.
What a clean pipe clip from Ryan over there.
Similar to like Link to the Past, not having that backup of having, you know, the Fire Flower can make you prepared in any situation. You're used to running through each level as Small Mario, whereas if you're used to running through with Fire Mario and you have to do several levels in a marathon like this as Small Mario, it can be a tough adjustment.
Definitely.
うわー、髪手隠して手隠して
Nice recovery.
Well done, Raiko.
Great recovery.
Great way out of a traffic jam. Very nice, Raiko. Good job.
You get the same cheap spawners in these levels as you do in the Super Mario Bros. 1 cheap bridges, but the platforms are placed in really precarious ways that make it very difficult to make your way through them at full speed.
6-4 right here, second puzzle castle of the game.
This is an interesting puzzle castle because often new players will ask, well, you know, what's the route through this castle? And the joke is always, you just pick whichever pathway you would never want to go.
いや、逆にこう腕をもっと短い邪悪な考えだな。邪悪な考えに俺は。
猫之助先生は書きたくないものは隠せばいいって言ってた。
マジ？でもここからどうやって隠してやる？もっと毛の量を増やしてやるか。もっと毛の量を増やしてやるか。
Team Boom Boom holding on to their lead here. Lots of different stuff going on with all three runners kind of struggling.
まあそれか腕を短くして。まあそれか腕を短くして。
That star is a pretty good choice in this stage, especially with, at this point in the game, the Hammer Brothers now, not only are they obnoxious and stand right in your way, but now as soon as they spawn, they start charging at you. If you weren't terrified of Hammer Brothers before, you should be now.
うわ出た。もう書き直しじゃんそれ。
It's kind of difficult getting your power-ups back in that level because the cheap troops are just coming at you from all angles. So good job pulling that off and leaving his big fire Mario.
髪なびかせるか。ロックバスターにしちゃおう。
もう逆転の発想すぎるやろそれ。嫌すぎるじゃん手書くの。
Darbian just went for a very difficult jump to pull off there. You have to land pretty far on the right of the moving platform, and you have to jump pretty late to make it all the way across the gap.
え？てか今から7面やろ。次8面まで行って、でそっからマリオワールドやるんでしょ。マリオワールドだってワープレスでしょ。
ロックバスターとサイコガンで両手が隠せる。
通るかそんなもん。
サイコガン抜いてる最中にする。
The right cycle. Probably wise for all of these runners to not go for optimal cycles in this, just due to the risk that it would cost them if they miss it.
服も赤タイツにしよう。
髪の毛金髪にして。
謎すぎるわ。
謎すぎるわそんな。
That's an optimal cycles in 7-3 for Riker.
Good job.
まあそれか手を位置をもう一回考えて腕をかきに腕をかき直すとな。
That's very tough to pull off. He wanted that mushroom. The stage can be extremely tough at the end. He wanted that mushroom, but grabbing it with the fire bar pressuring you like that's really tough. Oh, I actually think that he's going for a much earlier jump. Okay, I see now.
With the death, Team Birdo pulling past Team Reznor here, still really close. All three runners in World 7. Darby going through 7-3 now.
腕を切り落としましょう。
腕を落としましょうよ。
Okay, he made the right choice. He slowed down there. If he had fallen down that pit, he was going to have to wait for the.
悪ふざけだよなあれ。あれ悪ふざけだよな。何今更って感じだけど、言い出したの俺だし。持ちよいしょしたの俺だけどね。よいしょしたの俺だし。
Dealing with the Hammer Bowser combined with the Fire Bar in the worst possible spot, definitely its own challenge.
本当だよね。
Young boy dying on level 7-3, I think.
そうあれ見るとよいしょしてんの俺なんですよ。
Nobody able to pull ahead. Raiko kind of keeping a clean head has just kept his team in the lead.
車全損したやつがよ。
関係なくない
8-1 and 8-4 are probably two of the more difficult stages in this run. 8-1 can be extremely challenging. This game really tests your understanding of a lot of things in this game. Looks like he's going to play it safe right now.
ずらすのは論点じゃなくパンツだけにしときな。
Yeah, Lost Level's really taking advantage of you needing to know the momentum physics very well to even beat it casually. Lots of different blocks or different jumps that you really need to know how to control Mario properly to do. Or Luigi if you choose to do that. Good job, Raiko finishing up 8-1 there.
Yeah, so he's going to pick up. He's going to pick up.
ついにチームバード逆転した。
Fireworks right here.
逆転した。
So the
my book
difference between
bounce.
Lost Levels and Super Mario Bros. 1 is in Lost Levels you actually get fireworks if the last number on your timer matches the last number of your coin counter.
Yeah, so it makes it more difficult to skip fireworks. In Mario 1 you only have to look at the timer, but in Lost Levels you have to keep track of your coin count and you have to know when you're grabbing coins, when you're not grabbing coins. Accidentally grabbing coins can kind of make you have to think.
うわーマジ。
The turtle shell there in 8-1.
I always take for granted how much easier these jumps are for Luigi in 8-1.
Oh, nice clip by Darbian.
So that right there is just showing off some of the weird physics of this game. In most of the Mario Brothers games, I would say, but definitely in 1 and 2J, you have to deal with this situation where if Mario is moving up or not moving in any direction and he touches an enemy, the enemy wins, so Mario's going to take damage or die. Whereas if Mario is moving down at all, he pretty much wins every exchange, which is why you see a lot of times here the runners will jump at an enemy, and even though...
Supersonic continuing with the swag strats. Gotta love the Koopa shell at the...
A lot of times here, the runners will jump at an enemy, and even though...
すげえすげえ何それ
jump at an enemy, and even though...
Supersonic continuing with the swag strats.
すげえな
Gotta love the Koopa shell at the bottom of that pit, just kind of hanging out there.
All right,
nice job by Darbian there.
Raiko's cleaning up this run with a solid 8-4.
っていうか8面あるプレイを求められるの頭おかしいだろやばいだろあれを求められるのあの技術をやべえなスーパーマリオ2気が狂っとるだろ
Every room in this castle tests you. And it's easy to take for granted, you know, a lot of these runners have been playing this game for a while, playing these games for a while, but sometimes some things just don't get much easier, and this castle is one of them. This castle is tough the first day you play it, it's tough the last day you play it.
Darbian slowing down to make sure that the time in this going to almost got some fireworks.
見入っちゃうから
We see Bowser, and also here we see Bowser.
Bowser brothers.
There we go.
Nice
job
by Raiko.
Wonderful run by Raiko Rider. Great run.
Personally feeling the sweat of you possibly picking a speed game for me right now.
You probably should be.
I'm feeling the pressure.
There was a $50 donation from Anakos that actually said, best of luck to Raiko Rider for the lost levels. Obviously, he did a fantastic job, so...
Absolutely.
Oh, there's the clip in 8-4.
うわマジそういうの使っちゃう今日のみたいは恐竜ランド
That's it. This is going to be very close going into the final game.
I mean, having both runners at the end of 8-4 before Team Boom Boom has even entered Super Mario World, this is extremely close.
Yep. And Darbian finishes.
今度の舞台は恐竜ランド
gap between the first place and the last place team right now. That is so incredibly tight.
Absolutely. Any mistakes done in Super Mario World can definitely switch first place to third and vice versa.
When we talk about the variance between PBs in this category, I think the difference between the best and the worst runner in this on stage right now is less than 20 seconds. We're talking like 15 seconds.
Absolutely.
And the time loss that you can lose from some of these strats, some of the harder, more difficult stuff, you're talking easily a minute.
Yeah.
So that's easily the difference between the first place and the last place team right now.
It would not be a shock for first place to go to third or vice versa. This is really coming down to this game here, and it's going to be awesome to see.
Now, one thing that I mentioned at the beginning of Lost Levels is that in Lost Levels, we actually were in an interesting position where our best runner was in third place, and our second best runner was in second, and our third best runner was in first place at the time. And it's kind of interesting because we're seeing something very similar here. Truman does have the best PB, but Dots is easily the most consistent. And more likely to end up playing near his PB than the other threes. And so we actually are seeing a very similar thing.
このさ、なんていうのこのこのあらすじさ今度の舞台は恐竜ランドまあわかるじゃん何や怪しいこの島でまあまあいいじゃんまたもやピーチが姿を消したまではいいじゃんこいつはきっとクッパの仕業っていうさ この当てつけ、
entering Super Mario World.
もし違ってたらというこの危機感をかもしれない運転をこの断定してるのは何っていう。
結構いいじゃんカービィだって毎回デデデの仕業にしてるぞ。
この決めつけ。こいつはきっと吹っっぱなしはさ、何や怪しいこの島でっていうのもちょっと偏見あるしな。
日頃の行いやらな。
何や怪しいこの島でという偏見。
There's no Star World, which is the conventional warpless category, but it's not a particularly enjoyable run, either to run or to watch. So these runners have all chosen to do all castles, which is a much more interesting run, and I think really more in the spirit of what this 2D warpless relay is all about, which is, you know, beating every single, you know, world and beating every single boss. So we're going to be seeing that.
Nobody having any issues with YI3 box jump there.
ちょっと手の位置を考えるか。
空なんでも丸飲みにする恐竜がいる島なんて一歩間違えたらサバイバルホラーフカヒやぞ。全部安倍のせいみたいな。
全部安倍のせい。こいつはきっと何やらこの島でまたもやピーチが姿を消した。これはきっと心臓の仕業ですから何度も説明しております通り、私がですよ、恐竜ランドにですね行ったという事実はないわけです。これもしピーチにはさらったらですよ私もちろん責任取りますよ。
ツイッターによくいるめんどくさいやつしねえ。己安倍政権。
己安倍政権。安倍。進歩見せろ安倍。
So yeah, speaking of skipping auto-scrollers, we are not going to be going through Donut Plains 2, which is a good thing. Very long auto-scroller. Instead we'll be going through Donut Secret 1, the water level, just straight up and then to the right.
Yeah, so these runners are going to be taking normal all castles or no Star World route through World 2. Now, I mentioned the difference in the categories. So, no Star World is a category that's not required to get all of the castles. It's just trying to get to Bowser as quickly as possible without taking the Star Road. People who play this game or watch this game are probably very familiar with what Star Road is. It's a warp zone that allows you access to a lot of other worlds, and it can warp you straight to Bowser's castle.
So Truman grabbing the cape here. The cape is really the thing that breaks open S&W as a speed game. Why don't you give us a little insight into kind of how that tech works?
So efficient caping is actually quite challenging, and it's a lot harder than it looks. There's it's not just a matter of tapping left, which is really the reputation this game gets, but every time you press right on the controller, Mario's speed oscillates. I don't have a good explanation for why his speed oscillates, but oscillates between a lot of different values. And so what these runners are doing is looking for very specific visual cues on screen to try to figure out whether or not they have the fastest possible flight speed.
盛りかけに合いませんでしたじゃ済まされないぞ。学長に合いませんでしたでは済まされないぞ。
It's a very, very small amount.
But over the course of a longer run, especially a 96 exit run, it can add up. I don't think that will probably make much of a difference here in this race.
I don't think so. With the number of stages that they will actually end up flying over in this category, I think it will probably only make the difference of 10 seconds between someone who's not paying attention to it and someone who is, but it should be very small.
So, on Truman's end here, he's carrying a V-switch swimming through the stage. Much quicker to go through a water stage when holding an item.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't understand the physics of it, but for some reason holding an item...
Holding an item
is actually going to play a bit of a role in Forest of Illusion 2, where the item you're going to pick up very carefully need to grab that, otherwise it's a major time loss. We'll talk about that later, though.
Amazing how close this race is overall.
Yeah, it's so close. So after this ghost house, just focusing on Truman for a moment, right after this ghost house, there are 2 levels that are flyovers, not too painful, not too big of a variance between different runners. But right after that, we're going to see probably one of the more technical early levels in the game, which is Morton's Castle. Morton's Castle can be a huge difference between skilled and unskilled runners. And even really skilled runners, it's very easy to make small mistakes that will lose you quite a lot of time in that castle. So I'm looking forward to seeing what strats these guys choose and how well they're able to execute them.
Absolutely. In Morton's Castle, there's some moving, the walls move in and out, and essentially if you don't hit the proper cycle, you're going to be losing how much time? 15 seconds?
Yeah, every single cycle that you lose in Morton's Castle can make a difference of up to 17 seconds.
Yeah.
That's getting 40 stars a shame there. So every time you go through the end of the level, unless it's a castle or a ghost house, you're going to pass through a gate. Now, if you hit the pole on the gate, you're going to get so many stars according to where you hit it. You do not want to get 100 bonus stars because otherwise you enter a very slow bonus game.
Definitely. You noticed one issue right there with Dots. He was trying to go through that door. Doors are a little bit fickle in Super Mario World. If you're running at full speed, it's a 3-frame input to put in the door. So you'll see runners sometimes either slow down early or just, miss it entirely.
開発した方が悪い。
Right here, Truman's going to be picking up a Yoshi for a very specific reason coming up. There's going to be a glitch that he's going to perform in the very first stage of the next world, and that's going to allow him to save quite a lot of time.
262 for Aaron. That means he had the fastest flight speed possible coming out of Dungeons 3.
You could see Aaron just clearly staring at the screen, looking at the backgrounds, trying to make sure he could set his flight speed just as.
Dots also getting a 263. You can tell that these runners really know what they're doing when it comes to obtain the fastest flight speed. It's very subtle. Visually, it's hard to tell the difference. But these runners have been doing it for a long time.
As somebody who's casually run this game a bit, I don't even know how they see it, but it's an acquired skill for sure. Here we see Truman doing Morton fly. He's doing these spin flies and has to meet this exact cycle. He's also trying to get this springboard all the way up to the top of the fort, and looks like he did everything pretty much fine there.
Springboard's a good idea because with the absence of the green switch, you have to perform a one-tile fly.
さっきのマントの人、なんでこの回にプレイしてないのはもったいない。
We're going to see Aaron and Dots both get an opportunity to go in there while we watch Truman get this cutscene. I expect to see mostly the same. While Dots and Aaron show us exactly what we just saw, I do want to take just a quick moment because there's a big glitch that's about to happen. So I want to explain what it is. You can use Yoshi wings to end the level early in stages that are available, but they're not available in very many stages. And so one option is you can duplicate blocks in a very specific way to glitch the game into giving you Yoshi wings that aren't meant to be there. So what you're going to see these runners do, I have to explain fast because it's about to happen faster than you can tell. You're going to see,
Aaron dying at the top of Morton, that's a very costly death.
So you're going to see two quick block duplications that happen. That's going to allow one of the blocks to change its properties in order to have Yoshi wings inside them.
焦っているな。ほほ、焦っておるようじゃの。
Alright, so the first step is that. He needs to grab the Yoshi coin, and now there's a glitched block there. He needs to duplicate it. Yes? No? Okay.
There are the wings.
Huh?
Oh!
Alright, so he actually managed to get him.
Not as smooth as you'd like, but still saving time considerably overall, going through the actual intended path through that stage.
Yeah, between doing the rest of the stage and the 10 seconds
うわ、
of
これ大幅ロスだな。
that can save about, I think, 40 seconds.
Dots coming up here on the same trick.
加藤レイズナー。チーム加藤レイズナー。
So Truman's trying to hold on to the shell. It's very easy to accidentally run the shell into an enemy and just kill them instantly. He's trying to drop the shell in order to kill an enemy.
ゲームオーバーなんかすることはないと思うよ。
And re-grab that shell by spinning it.
Dots catching up a bit of time getting that.
That was a really
considerably quicker than
excellent.
Truman did.
His time on the clock grabbing those wings were 371. That's really excellent work.
Just decreasing that gap even more between the two teams. And Aaron coming up on the same level in a moment. The death of Morton's obviously costing him a pretty decent amount of time, but he's got his cape back. He had to backtrack a bit and go back to get a cape because of some of the strats in these levels.
Yeah, there's definitely still a lot of room for position change.
Definitely.
We have a $200 donation from bucket of beef that says Go Team Boom Boom.
Dot's just managed to pull off a technique there called sticky fly. If you pull up right against the ceiling in just the right way, you can actually, Mario will stick to it across the entirety of the ceiling.
What's the swag rating on that trick?
Not very high.
No. Okay. Just keep us posted.
6 out of 10.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's better than average.
辛いなこの絵本当に。
Alright, so there are a lot of options.
この絵辛いな。なんでこのポーズ1個で描くだけにこんなに時間かかってんの。
374 wins for Aaron.
Very nice.
So you got the initial flight. Getting that flight speed there actually can be very challenging, so impressive that he pulled it off. But now he has to make the choice. There's a variety of methods he can use to get through the next section with the raft. He's going to pick up Yoshi, but what he does with it, I have no idea.
Dot's looking over, trying to see what.
Oh, I know what he's doing with it.
What happens to Truman so that he can kind of react with his own strats. And he's doing the raft skip. Oh!
おおすげえ。何それ。
Wow. What was the swag level on that?
マジでちょっと今見ようぜ。
Strats. And he's doing the raft skip. Oh!
やばそのリカバリーは。
What was the swag?
そのリカバリーはちょっと変態すぎます。
What happens to Truman so that he can kind of react with his own strats. And he's doing the raft skip. Oh!
すげえちょっとまあすごすぎるだろそれは。
That's an 11 out of 10.
Wow!
That is an extremely risky trick. It saves quite a lot of time. It is very challenging to pull off too. It combines like 3 or 4 different glitches into one, and
チームブンブンちょっと次元が違うな。
that's about 7
出てる高校
seconds faster
出てる
than the
大学が違う
safety
な。
round. I think another
チームブンブン。
4 seconds faster than the typical raft
バグ見せを
fly
何やろう
that
とか言ってごめん
strong
な。
runners would choose.
Dot's still not having to do any strats that he doesn't want to do. Plenty of other places to make up time in this run.
Absolutely.
So, we'll see what he ends up doing here.
Dots is making a smart choice right now of picking the much more consistent and really
これは
not a
東
huge
京
time
の大学
difference
出てるな。
choice. He is able to make it through there with almost 100% certainty, and it really isn't a huge difference. in time.
Considerably less swag, though.
Considerably less.
less.
ブンブン最高かよ。
So the next castle coming up is
やっぱブンブンは最高だぜ。
Magic Koopa can be a real pain. By not defeating Magic Koopa at the beginning, makes this strategy a bit more difficult on Truman. Seems to be having no problems with it though. Nice room 1.
ブン
Yeah,
ブ
there
ン
are
記号
consistent
ブン
setups
ブ
there
ン
for
記号
making
ブ
sure that
ン
you
ブ
don't
ン。
end up getting screwed over by Magic Koopa. Alright, we see Aaron right now going into BD3. He gives his pick, you know, he can
俺の脳の
go
性
for
能
some
って
really risky
伝達
strats
程
to
度の
try
気
to
がし
make
て
up
き
that
た。
time, or he can just try to basically continue along and hope that Truman and Dots make some error.
J ブン J ブン。
This stage right here, you know, in a manner of speaking, it can be considered an auto-scroller.
お前
You do
電
have to
卓
wait
並み
on
に
some
計
of
算
these
速
cycles
度
here,
速いのかすご
but
い
you
な
can。skip quite a lot of them. And
算数だ
did
け
a
だ
great
ね。
job with that.
We have a $500 donation from
イギ
BK
ーかわいいな。
that says, Good luck, Aaron, Truman,
イ
and
ギー
Dots.
じゃねえか。
Off, good game. Team
逃
Boom
げてば
Boom,
っか
Team
だと舐め
Resnar,
られる
and
から
Team
偉
Birdo.
い。
わお。
Probably have time for a couple of donations.
No problem. We have a $40 donation from Ballistic Buddha that says, Shoutouts to the Yoshi Bongos. We have a $10 donation from Simon W that says, Good luck to Truman from all the way back home. Remember to be speedy quick. Made your heart proud. We have a $200 donation from Pat D that says, "Go Team Resnar."
Truman representing the state of Ohio, which actually doesn't have anything else to do with the speedrunning from what I can tell. A lot of speedrunners from Ohio. Really cool Buckeye Speed Bash just happened. They got LeBron.
So that stage looks challenging for everything to line up, but this is another instance that you almost have to imagine that the designers of Super Mario World had sort of speedrunning in mind, because it just feels like everything lines up perfectly. Truman is probably going to go for a really crazy strat here. Yep.
I like that idea.
Okay. So he's going to bail out of that strat right there. He was setting up for a strat called Cookie Mountain Boss Kill. You spawn a glitched, fake, whatever you want to call it, Koopa Kid through a series of really complicated glitches and timings. And then you kill it with fire and jump back on Yoshi, and the stage ends as if you've just beaten a castle.
Yeah, this game has a lot of very broken aspects to it, especially when it comes to like ace categories. What's the quickest time you can beat this game in?
I think the current world record is just over a minute.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different weird stuff that you can glitch in there.
Alright, so Dots is going for it now. He missed a part of the glitch called Double Tongue. So he wasn't in the glitch state that would have allowed him to try it, so he's just going to continue on.
Not losing too much time for either of them.
Dots has chosen to activate Yoshi Flight, an interesting mechanic where he's able to escape like normal, but he has Yoshi with him. The reason he keeps sticking out his tongue is so that Yoshi doesn't turn around. Yoshi's actually not capable of facing the other direction while his tongue is out. Yeah, so this room right here that Truman just got done with, and that you'll see from Dots in a minute, requires a pretty good understanding of how your cape mechanics work, because it basically relies heavily on manipulating your flight timers to sort of line up in the right way. I'm not sure whether or not Dots will go for that strat, or whether or not he'll just take the early Fire Flower and do it without cape. This is a pretty common choice to make right here, where you're out of the way.
It's interesting to see the difference in approaches here between Dots and Truman. Truman kind of going for some riskier strats, Dots playing a little bit more conservatively. It'll be interesting to see who finishes on top with that strategy. One of the costliest bosses here to not have a Fire Flower for saves about how much time?
The Fire Flower for this one, I think it saves about 12 seconds, maybe a little more. So, coming up in this next stage, Truman is probably going to be going for Forest Evolution 1 wings. He's going to do the same block duplication, a similar block duplication to what we saw in Vanilla Dome 1, where he duplicated a few blocks, and then we saw Yoshi wings that we weren't expecting. In this case, he's actually, instead of needing to create a glitched wings block, he's going to make use of the P-Balloon block because of a strange property with the P-Balloon blocks, which is that they're actually the same exact block as wings blocks, just based on what their X position is. So he's going to duplicate a block off to the side in hopes of getting Yoshi wings. But he's unfortunately going to have to do it over a pit. Yeah, he could have tried it again, but he lost the shell, so it's better off just to move on. It doesn't lose a lot of time going for that. And honestly, you don't save a lot of time going for it either, but it's a really interesting strat, and done optimally, you can save up to 7 seconds, so.
What's the swag rating of that strat?
Pretty high. I think it's pretty high anytime you have a strat that saves very little time, but, you know, can fail catastrophically. So, once again, in the reputation of Super Mario World, yet another stage with a glitch. Truman is going to try to flip out of bounds using his Yoshi.
First try.
Every time.
First try.
It's going to be a big reset point for a lot of runners.
そもそもこの高さでつかないんじゃないか、上が。
attempting that clip, and there's not much you can do about it, so it's both execution and luck, and Truman getting it first try there is
Alright, well, Aaron is just now wrapping up Ludwig's Castle, and we're going to be seeing him going into Forest Evolution 1, attempting the wings as well. I don't think Dots
That's
went
the RNG
for
we're talking about. Dots pulling it off or getting pushed out, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for this strat, for clipping out of bounds,
the second try is really
great job. Unfortunately for this strat, it's actually possible to manipulate the RNG in your favor, but you can never end up in a situation where you have a 100% chance of success.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate because that makes it a huge reset point for a lot of runners. There's been quite a lot of runs. Everyone has their war stories of being on fantastic PB pace and then getting knocked out of the wall 10 times in a row, and there goes, you know, full minute.
Yeah, and that clip saves a considerable amount of time. I mean, this is a long, winding swimming level that takes a long time to do as intended. There is a easier clip you can do, and you could learn at home probably in 5 minutes, but that's still 30 seconds longer than doing what they did.
Absolutely.
Now, coming up on the next level on the instrument side, he's about to perform what we call a Roy Fly. He'll have to perform flight in between the middle of a bunch of potos, has to perform the dive at the exact right time, otherwise it's into the lava.
Alright, so we have Aaron here going.
いや、マジで難しいな。
And he gets the wings, and he grabs them. Great job.
Nice job by Aaron.
Really well done. So this stage, it's intended that you ride the block snake at the bottom, and it's an extremely slow block snake and very difficult. But with some very careful use of your cape, you can actually avoid all of the obstacles that are in the way.
マジむずいな。
One of the most satisfying tricks in SMW to learn, just because it looks so cool. And it's not as hard as it possibly looks. Although messing it up is not good.
Aaron getting the clip very easily in Forced Evolution 2.
Wow.
Great job, Aaron.
Only one additional clip attempt between 3 runners is really impressive. Dot's doing the Roy Fly now.
サンスとどっちがむずい？
Another great Roy Fly.
こっち。 こっちやら、サンズはだって3時間ぐらいでクリアできてたもん。
Nice.
レルレルレルレルレルレル。
Very much a sticking point for runners. We were talking about that. Everything seems to be going well so far for all these runners.
Absolutely. I mean, we're probably like 15 seconds apart, 20 seconds apart maybe. What coming up off from Sky do you think could possibly sway the game in anybody's favor?
Well, right now, Truman is going for a stage, and I'm going to go ahead and prepare you. It is very high on the swag rating.
Okay.
The reason for that is because it saves 1 in-game second if you succeed, and loses quite a lot of time if you fail it. But fortunately, it's quite free. You'll notice that Truman is now flying through the stage much faster than he should be capable of doing. But it's because he was able to conserve his flight trigger as he goes through the pipe cannon, so it fired him out at a much faster speed and allowed him to fly on the other end of it. As far as stages that we can see that might cause some problems, World 6 Castle is definitely a huge issue for a lot of runners. It's very challenging to pull off. This stage right here, people have been known to have some trouble. It's very difficult. So Aaron's going to really quickly grab another cape and take another shot at it. The Roy Fly is incredibly challenging.
It takes just one incorrectly performed pump to end up hitting one of those potos and unfortunately losing your cape.
Yeah, it's very subtle movement differences that can make a huge issue for that technique. You end up flying through that room, bonking your head on the ceilings at very specific times, and the issue with that is that if you mistime one of your bonks, then your dive bomb isn't ready for you right when you need it to go underneath all those potoboos.
And different flight speeds can affect kind of how long of a distance you cover with each pump, which can make it tighter or looser in terms of wings to be able to do that dive bomb. So
Exactly.
it takes a lot of reaction to kind of adjust to all of those different factors.
So a special feature for all castles is that you pick up this Yoshi here in Chocolate Island 2, and the reason for that is he needs to hold on to that all the way up to Valley of Bowser 2, where he's going to use actual real Yoshi wings this time, intended by the
legal
developers.
ones.
Yes.
Wow.
あ、チームバードブンブンに若干だが追いついてきてるぞ。
We have a $200 donation from Jose that says, my first memory was playing Super Mario World, so my first donation during the run is an incredibly relay seems so right.
So flying through this stage with Yoshi takes a
ど
lot
の
of
チームが
practice.
一番すごい
It's
の
not a
ブン
situation
ブ
that
ン
a
か
lot of
な。
runners are used to, so.
Yeah, it's cool seeing these different
ブンブンはちょっと
characters
出てる大学が違う感がある
change
よ。
levels that runners are really used to and add, you know, new wrinkles to them. Especially World 5 here is a big one for that in this All Castles one compared to New Star World.
Right. Yeah, that's a big issue with
ブン
Super
ブ
Mario
ンなん
World
て
is that
叩いたら
the
倒ける
variety of
ぞ。
different states the level can
私
be
は
in,
もう
whether
死
or
に
not
そう
you
だ
have
が、
Cape, whether or not you have Yoshi, whether or not you've beaten
もう一度
Special
聞く
World, whether
か。
or not you hit certain switch palaces. Makes it really easy for just subtle changes in the route or changes in the goals to make completely different categories.
Nice pipe fly by Aaron.
Definitely.
Just as we come to the end of this relay, I do just want to encourage everybody to just go through the list of the people running in this relay and just follow them all. They're all really great runners. I watch almost all of them on a regular basis, and they're just, you know, so talented. I think you guys could probably all have noticed that from how close this race is up to this point.
So interesting to note here about Choco Ghost House. To stay above this fishing boo in the middle of the stage is really difficult. What you don't see is there's a pipe.
Ooh. Now we may be seeing some catching up from Team Birdo here with Truman losing Cape here.
Yeah, he's going to have to choose a slightly different strategy here. He was trying to Cape cancel. Okay. Just wanted to hold my breath for that.
Visions of what game I could choose Author Blues is just running.
No, you're fine.
As he
You're
looks
fine.
there. Both in the same castle now, getting even closer.
This is a clear opportunity for Dots to close the gap just a little bit. He's still got his cape. He's got the opportunity now to close this gap quite a lot.
So where will Truman be getting a new cape?
Well, the very next stage, right at the beginning of it, there's another cape for him, and that won't be a huge problem. But playing this castle without a cape, I mean, hands down in any no cape no Star World category, or in any no cape no Star World.
おー、すごい。追いついてる。すげえ。
You see Dots kind of flying through a lot of those cycles that you normally would have to platform.
マジか、ちょっとわからんくなったねこれ。
Screen at the same time, just getting even closer. Nice. I mean, we are under 10 seconds apart, I think.
わからんくなってきたぞこれ。熱っ。
I don't think any of these players are going for sandbar flip.
No, probably not. It would take him a completely different direction. So coming up right now, we've got them going into sunken.
頑張れルイージ。
long level, but the nice thing
急げマリオ。頑張れルイージ。
96 exit, I would say that
ひどい。
probably with the exception of maybe Aaron, their preferred category, and Aaron's still really competent 96 exit. Yoshi in Sunken Goshen.
こんな屈辱ないだろルイージ。
expectation for this stage. That's the default approach to this stage, and so I think that they're not going to have any trouble with that going forward. Even going into Valley of Bowser 1, having a Yoshi is going to be a welcome reality.
Do you want to explain how they despawn this blue ring coming up?
Yeah, hopefully that's what we're going to see.
うわマジか。せっかくバランス良かったのに、ちょっとまたおかしくなってしまった。
just knocked himself off a Yoshi twice. That was intentional, and you'll see Dots and Aaron do the same. He's basically trying to time out how the Boo Cloud despawns itself. You'll notice that it fades in and fades out. There's a certain trigger in the stage where the Boo Cloud is supposed to stop appearing. But if you can get the Boo Cloud to appear one more time on despawn the Boo Ring that's right where he is right now, it's supposed to complement the Boo Ring that you're seeing right now.
かわいそすぎるやろあまりにも。
What you want to do is you want to make the Boo Ring
うわちょっと待ってこれ。
last, or the Boo Cloud last as long as possible. So that it despawns at the right time to take the Boo Ring with it.
Both Truman and Dots despawning the Boo Ring with no issue there.
Aaron's probably making the smart choice to not do the cape cancel through the Crusher. It's pretty consistent, but there are some flight speeds where just no matter what you do, there are some flight speeds where no matter what he does, he ends up in a situation where he can, where he won't make the Crusher skip.
Or,
I heard.
Valley of Bowser, definitely a challenging world in a lot of different categories for a lot of different reasons.
With the amount of time that's between Aaron and the other runners, we're probably going to see all three of them in the Bowser fight at the same time. It's incredibly likely that that's going to end up being where we are.
That's crazy.
Especially if either of these two end up making even a single mistake throughout the course of the rest of this run. We're going to see all three runners on the final boss of the final game at the same time. I think that's amazing.
5 games in.
We have a $50 donation from Audie's that says, I always prefer to donate during Mario runs at GDQ. Gotta love the plumber and friends. Kill the Bowsers. Save the animals.
Except the Yoshis.
So right here, Truman's going to take Yoshi through this room, and he's going to get the Yoshi wings in the next room to end this stage early. As mentioned before, Yoshi wings contain the normal exit of whatever stage you beat with them. He's going to leave Yoshi behind because he's not.
Another nice part about the All Castles run versus the No Star World run is there's a trick called Sandbar Clip there that is probably the most difficult trick in the run, or one of the most difficult, and it's right at the end of the run. All Castles, we don't have that run ender coming up here, which is really nice. I wouldn't want to see one trick that's really difficult to pull off.
Okay, let's see how he gets up to this key right here. And a clean slide through. Fantastic.
And Dots gets door fly.
Dots went for door fly. So Dots did a slightly different setup. He maintained his flight trigger through the door. Wonderful job. He maintained his flight trigger through the door in the first room and opted to fly through the stage. Right, so Truman just took a moment to scroll the screen to the left. That was an intentional time loss so that he could skip the first 2 pencils, the skewers. Scrolls the screen back again. Oh my god.
Wow. Really, really good job.
That was an amazing. This room in the entirety of the game is probably one of the most challenging and technical rooms to do quickly. And Truman just pulled off the fastest variant of that stage.
Dot's losing 2 capes.
I'm thinking door 3 for Dots then.
Yeah, Dots will almost certainly be taking door 3 in Bowser's Castle. It's a slight departure from what you would see in a lot of speedruns, but by having door 3, he can pick up an extra cape, or in this case, a cape. Truman is going to actually have the benefit from having both capes to be able to take also a slightly different route through Bowser's Castle than a lot of people see. Oh, you don't have both? I thought I saw the second cape in... Oh, no, never mind.
No door 5 this time.
You know what? Don't worry about me.
This is Truman's race to lose now for Team Boom Boom. He's got a considerable lead here, and as long as everything goes well with the Bowser fight, it should be Team Boom Boom in first.
Alright, so he's going to be going through door 7 in this case.
He's going to maintain his speed to get flyer around the room, but able to recover nicely.
Definitely.
The dark room, no reason to turn on the lights, that takes time.
It also lags the game a little bit.
It is like a disco light, so...
And we're not here for a party.
Yeah. Okay, Truman going on into Bowser.
So Dots went and grabbed a hidden cape that's in that stage.
わあ、チームブンブンの勝利か。いや、しかし、チームバードかなり追い上げたな。
You want to explain a bit about cape kill?
Yeah, so the normal operation for this fight is you want to get the Mega Koopas and then you want to drop them on Bowser's head, which is what you're seeing here. You can save quite a bit of time actually by hitting the Mecha Koopas right as Bowser throws them out, so that they hit him right on his head as he's throwing them, and that's a pretty significant time save. Optimal non-cape kill versus optimal cape kill is something like 12 seconds different, so it really does add up. Truman's going here for a strategy we refer to as ball skip. In this phase right here, Bowser drops 2 bowling balls. But if you drop the second Mecha Koopa, or if you drop that Mecha Koopa on his head right as he's stopping to drop the second bowling ball, he like forgets.
No way he has room for that bowling ball. Truman going into the last phase of Bowser.
うわあれと腕かき直し
Really close.
腕かき直しは辛すぎるだろお前
Time is going to be when Peach appears coming out of Bowser's clown car. We're very close.
Dot's also going for ball skip here. You don't need Afghan to go for it. So you put that out correctly.
Here we go.
And Truman finishes off Bowser. Team Boom Boom wins.
Right there.
4位じゃねえか腕の1本や2本
Alright, Dots is still heading into the third phase of Bowser, right as Aaron's going to be entering Bowser's castle. So we're actually very close still. Aaron's going to be entering Bowser's castle with both of his caves, which means we may get to see the really cool strategy in Door 5. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to go for it, or stick with what he feels more comfortable with.
いやさすがに手をかく
Very skilled.
手をかく気力はもうねえな
No, he's going for it right here.
辛
He's
すぎ
going for the
る
damage
手
boost.
がこうあるとして腕が
うせろ
こうあるとして
Just enough irons to get past.
That saves a pretty significant amount of time over doing door 5 the normal way, and saves time even over doing door 7 the normal way that you would see from a speedrunner.
All eyes on Team Reznor. Come on, Aaron, bring it home.
Finish this off, Aaron.
腕なんてなかった
Come on.
ドベにもしっかり声援を送ってくれる GDQ あったけ最下位のやつにもしっかり応援する GDQ あったけ
There's not one runner in this marathon that you should not be following. This race was really amazing. And
if
honestly,
you like Mario
so
games, these are your people. 15 of the top 2D Mario runners.
Many of them run a variety of these games. They're not just sticking to one Mario game.
So yeah, guys, once again, major shoutouts
こ
to
のあ
all
った
of
か
these
さをボンバー
amazing
マンにも
runners
分けてや
and
ってくれ
shoutouts to
ボ
our
ンバーマンの会場率いてたなあれ
giving such great entertainment. Also, major shoutouts to our tech and audio crew
ちなみにスーパーマリオワールドは
set up for you guys.
対決で5分で終わるやつがあるぞバグ技を使っていかに早くエンディングを引き起こせるかという
No big deal.
NBD, as the kids say.
What happened to him was actually a very common mistake. If you turn around, if you don't turn around before you touch the side of the screen for the first hit in the second phase, you can accidentally pull Mario away from the wall, which you would have no way of really knowing that that's happening, just because of the fact that he's off screen at the time. So it's very easy to drop the Mecha Koopa and not realize that you're not dropping it anywhere near his head.
Oh.
あったかすぎるなんだこの雰囲気
優しい世界
Team Reznor with 2:47.12. Team Berto with 2:44.23. And congrats
チームレイズナーも最初こそは早かったけど
2:43.40.
い
約1秒差まで追いついたか。
ちなみにこういうのもある。ポケモンエメラルドの、エニーパーセントのバグなし。こういったものもある。明日も私も寝ようかな。じゃあ腕だけ完成させたい。本当に。
これって毎年やってんの？
毎年やってるよ、これ。やってるらしいよ。
明日何？
明日は車の一日市場です。これだけ異様に音が小さいんだよね。なんでか知らないけど。なんかバランスおかしいよな。バランスおかしいっていうか、腕の長さが違う。腕の長さが違う。腕の長さが違うけど、こっちの高さを合わせたら絶対万歳みたいなポーズになってしまう。どうしたものか。でやっぱこれとこれがこうつながってるから、こっちを必然的にこうしたらこっちもこうなんねやな。
苦悩のうち悪いけど誕生日だから祝って。
おめでとう。
ありがとう。もっと祝え。
ここから先のお祝いは有料となっております。
苦悩のうちは
got $100 from Smasher32. Hey guys, watching you from just a few rows behind. I've enjoyed watching Almost speedrun this game for several years now, and I still remember when a full run took 6 hours. It's crazy how fast this game is now. Good luck to both of you on the run.
いやマジ苦しいな。苦しすぎる。うわ吐くわ吐くわこんなの。この腕の短い吐くわこんなの。バカ野郎。うわきつ。なんやこの短い腕。勘弁してくれよ。
Secretly, Malia has known about the blimp ticket skip for 2 months and is waiting until the end of this run to reveal it. I just know it.
今日は寝ようか。うわきつー。なんやこれ。やべ。
Yes, this money can go to Almost Choice if he says All Stars is a better name than All Crystal Stars.
Oh, no way. It really should be All Crystal Stars, but I'll do it for... Well, we have the donation anyway, so it's not even like doing it for charity. We have your money, dude.
It's すぎる。
Category is the route is really similar to what any percent was before Palace Skip, and it has probably more tricks than this category because you're cutting out some of the sections from this game. So it all stars with maybe the hardest category.
Dallas RNG though.
Yeah. So the thing that I was talking about earlier with enemies, he can just run behind the piranha plant and then they stop noticing him. For whatever reason, they do that. If you try to zigzag throughout the screen, they'll keep popping up in front of you, and it can make it really annoying to dodge. But the enemies are really, really important in this game, so that's just the work of the last few years, just figuring out how each one works and what the best strategy is. Because it also cuts down on movement time from him not having to travel all over the screen.
For this point, I want to go all 3 of these at the same time, so there's less text at the end. Not that they've got help values.
So if you supercharge Vivian and Marilyn right here, which he did,
いや嫌になってきた。
which saves a couple of seconds.
Oh, because they never completed the prologue, they don't actually have Sweet Treat.
お前はまだやれるはずだ。
もうわけわかんねえよ。もうわけわかんねえよ。
何の問題ですか？かかってこいよー。
かかってこいよ。
$5 donation from Moon's Gaming. I'm sitting 2 rows behind the couch and I'm wearing a bluish green shirt. Hope you don't mind my sweet dance moves after this donation is read.
You wait a little bit, you go just the ball.
I didn't see any dance moves. We got a $1,000 donation. From Azraled. Says, Paper Mario's the best. Please keep doing what you're doing. Giga DB's run last year was amazing, and yours is too. Thanks for the entertainment, and thanks for the awesome event. I hope everyone is having a good time.
This helps with some of the rest of this game, so it doesn't just do things as easily.
$こんな感じか。もっと腕曲げたいんだけどな、本当は。もっとこうしたいんだよな、俺。こんな感じか。そうするともうちょっとこっち長いんだよね。
Go Wiz! Everybody's favorite quiz master Chuck Quizmo. Question 1. Why didn't you put me in 1000-year door, Nintendo? Was I not good enough? Good luck on the run.
Can we just agree that chapter 2 is the worst chapter?
Oh,
Yeah,
I personally don't like it. I like it all the way off the stage. It's also the longest chapter because of how it's different. Chapter 2 is definitely different.
ちょっとタイトル回収だな。タイトル回収来たな。今日はちょっとつれー普通につらい。書けなくて時間だけ過ぎていくのつらすぎる。死ぬかもしれない。いつも死んでるね。終わんのか。やれんのか。
他に角のあるなら一回そっちにシフトするのもありだと思うよ。
ない。構図だけあるけどない。
構図募集して。
構図募集したいマジで。
辻さんみたいに 3D モデル使うとかは？
いやー。
なんかポーズを見て体練習してからまた再開したらどう？
あまりのかけなすにジュン君のエロ画像を描きそうだもん今。
描きましょうや。
あまりにかけなさすぎてジュン君に正義ぶっかけたいもんね今。
ジュン君のエロは無限にかけ。
じゃあそういうことで今日は終わります。
やめてね。
お疲れー。